Ladies and gentlemen, it does not get any closer than that. All the passion, all the tears left on stage as the Boston Uprising edged out the London Spitfire 3-2 in a match that went the distance. And with that win, the Boston Uprising, they are still undefeated. And I still got the chills, because that was crazy. That was crazy. That's going to be a tough one to follow up, but if there's any matchup that can follow up that match, it's a rematch of our Stage 2 championship between the Philadelphia Fusion and NYXL. Now, these two teams, they traded blows all season long. As you know, the Philadelphia Fusion was the first non-All-Korean roster team to take out NYXL. And in the Stage 2 finals, they were one map away from getting that Stage 2 championship. With NYXL, they just came and they deboed it, took it straight out of their hands, and they were our Stage 2 champions. So with that, the Philadelphia Fusion definitely looking for revenge right now. We got a grudge match on our hands. One of my favorite rivalries in the league, Blizzard Arena. Make some noise. It is our final match of the night. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and send it over to the crew at the desk to break this down. Take it away, Golden Boy.
Oh boy, we are not done yet, folks. Our final match of the night. Golden Boy here alongside with Sideshow and Reinforced.
Yeah, man. We've had it all. First was the boys by Zoe, then it was the gentleman, and now Malik calls us the crew.
The crew.
The crew.
We nailed them all.
The crew, the squad, the posse.
That's right. We just really need to find more ways to define us here on the desk. Man.
Not the roommates.
Yeah, I know.
We're not, no.
No, we don't live. You two do, but no, not. Nope. And Lord knows I don't want to do that. All right, well, let's check out the Stage 3 standings here, because these two teams, they're currently sitting in the top 4, but Fusion can jump over the NYXL here with a win, gentlemen. This is big.
This is honestly big. I'm a bit speechless because this is not really what we expected. Valiant and Boston on top, but then New York dropping one series to Boston. This is as close as it gets, in my opinion, because New York, we know them. They've only dropped 3 series so far this season. Dropping one more, that's going to be a question mark, big question mark on New York.
It's just crazy, you know, just a side note, how we started Stage 1, you had Houston up there, you had London up there, Seoul was up there. Man, things have just surely changed throughout the course of the season. It really is, it really is. But let's start with the last time that these two teams played, and that was, as Malik so eloquently put it, the Stage 2 finals. He went deep into that one, talking about the revenge that Philly want to bring to NYXL here, Sideshow.
Philadelphia Fusion went up 2-0, and it looked like they were going to be able to take it, but then their worst map, Volskaya, comes up, and NYXL bring it all the way back. New York, I think, are also viewing this one as a bit of a revenge match. They didn't expect it to be so close. Their head coach, Wizard Young, he's the guy on the right-hand side who doesn't look impressed there, even though they were.
We did drop 2 maps.
Exactly, and he was saying, we should have 4-0'd them. This should have been clean. If we'd had time to prep, we would have beaten them easily. So New York are coming into this thinking they want revenge for having a close game, and Philadelphia are coming into this wanting revenge for losing at all. So there's such a rivalry between these two teams. I think each one secretly views themselves as the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked with how these squads have been performing. Now, speaking of, you know, some of the players on this team, Snillo on the Tracer, someone we got to talk about here. Johnny.
Absolutely. He's a bit of a fresh player, I think, to the Overwatch League. He started subbing in versus the Shanghai Dragons, and he did a pretty good performance overall. And then he was subbed in versus London Spitfire in the Stage 2 playoffs, and then versus the New York Excelsior. So overall, Snillo is a huge surprise for me in terms of his capabilities on this Tracer role.
And other people are rating him really highly as well.
Say that.
We saw Super tweet out that he thinks that Snillo's the best Tracer in the league right now. That's pretty crazy. That's big talk. I might put him in my top 3 with Striker and Sabiobi.
For sure.
There's other guys. There's Prophet is up there as well. I mean,
definitely.
Carpe even.
Well, just the mechanical skill, I think, is really impressive. We can take a look at the stats maybe, and we can see just Snillo's raw numbers, because he has a very special Tracer style, and Monte Cristo loves to point this out. We look at the deaths here for Snillo and Sabiobi. The 2 lowest in the league. Snillo leads the league, and Sabiobi is second in terms of lowest deaths per 10 minutes. Wow. So they play this sort of sneaky style, and they like picking off in the back line. Monte Cristo often says that Snillo is the one hiding the most, but I think Sabiobi is up there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the two clash, given they have very similar styles when they like to hide and not necessarily take the duels.
Yeah, but then as we jump and shift focus to the NYXL, and you know, I think we've been having this conversation about individual performances, and I think this is a good moment for a guy like me, perhaps, to mention the OWL MVP presented by T-Mobile. Just saying. And one guy in particular is Jonak. You got to talk about him. He's in a conversation.
I think he might be the league leader for who people would call the MVP of the league right now. He's on the best team in the league. He is the focal point for that team. He would, at the very least, he would win Rookie of the Season because the guy didn't play in a competitive team really before this and just came out with unbelievable performances. Even on the Ana, which he doesn't get to play that often, he is absolutely fantastic.
But you looked here versus Boston, this is what they did to counter Jonak. Mistakes on the Sombra, and that's just another character to get into the backline of New York Excelsior, and they couldn't really deal with it, and that's why we saw the Boston Uprising upset New York Excelsior in many ways. So with Sombra being more of a standout character in this meta specifically, you have to wonder, is Philadelphia going to bring out the Sombra today? They haven't really done so thus far.
Or even just focus Jonak.
Yeah, even focus Jonak. So it makes me question Philadelphia a bit. They haven't really played the Sombra before, and so can they actually shut down the New York Excelsior?
Well, they've had time to prep. And gentlemen, you've had time to predict. So Josh, we're going to start with you. Who do you think is going to win this game?
I mean, I'm 2 for 2 so far. I'm just going to rub that in Johnny's face before I begin.
Dear.
But I think the NYXL at the moment are the best team in the league. I'm going to have to go with that, with the NYXL in this match. Despite the loss to Boston, they still look overall the most consistent. They have a great team plan. They play well. Having said that, the Philadelphia Fusion have a good chance to take this. I'm giving it to NYXL in 5 games, 3-2 to them.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to give it to New York as well, because I think that while Philadelphia Fusion, they are a really good team, but I don't really see them utilizing New York's weaknesses as much as Boston Uprising did. So I think this will be a more battle of individual skill and more head-to-head matchups, more than perhaps Philadelphia necessarily undermining New York's strategy and their weak points.
I tell you, man, you two boys made the folks over at the Waypoint Cafe in New York very happy with those predictions here. But now it's time to get into the matchup and bring out your first team. And I'm so pumped for this game. So let's go ahead. Welcome the first squad to the arena. It is the Philadelphia Fusion. Philly, 16-8, 3-1 in stage 2. And as we mentioned before at the top of the segment, a win here would be huge for them as they would leap over NYXL in the stage standings.
You can see that Snillo not fielded in the opening lineup here. They're going over to Anubis as the first map. A lot of teams enjoy running Dive and then a Junkrat on defense. That's EQO's kind of wheelhouse. He's going to be playing the Genji and probably the Junkrat in those compositions. And Carpe has had, honestly, MVP performances of his own.
We could see some Widowmaker as well. We saw in the grand finals how they shut down New York actually with the Widowmaker before Libro turned up. And actually, we have to give a shout out to Boombox as well. He's got a new haircut, new hair color, really looking very pretty, and you're going to see it in just a moment.
I love Fraggy seems surprised by the response. Yeah, he's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, so am I.
Poco,
There's a big Poco fan in the house, apparently.
Honestly, I'm a big Poco fan as well. I think Poco and Note, who we just saw from Boston, have developed into 2 of the best divas in the league. And there's Boombox's new hairstyle. It's not quite Philly Fusion orange, I'm going to be honest. It looks more like San Francisco Shock orange, if I'm going to be... If we're assessing the color of
they're going to shock New York Excelsior today.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's not even a Golden Boy joke.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
I'm not at that yet.
No, you're not at that. You're young. You're young.
And to put the focus on Neptuno for a moment as well, I think that he is up there as the best Mercy kind of support player in the league alongside Ark, who he's playing against. These two stand head and shoulders above the rest of the league in terms of their support play for me. So I think you should focus on Neptuno this game. He will put on a masterclass.
All right, well, gentlemen, now it's time to bring out their opponents. Welcome to the stage, the NYXL. This is a dominating squad.
Oh, bait it! Oh, ice cold!
Oh, that Philly Fusion fan, that was brutal. Just getting in the head there. Getting in the head of Sabiobi.
That was the highlights. Can I break that down? Tell us later.
Break it down. Illustrate it, Johnny.
Well, NYXL are a fantastic team, though. They have been putting some bigger structures in place, is what their coach said. They said they didn't prep as hard for Boston in the game that they lost, and that game was insanely close. And they are a team that focuses a lot on preparation. I think they'll have done their homework coming into this match because, as we said on the setup, they view it as a bit of a rivalry.
Yeah, you have to wonder what you rate here. Do you want to perhaps slow down practice a bit, preparing for the playoffs so you don't drain yourself and necessarily get fatigued before the season playoffs? Or do you take that loss and you think to yourself, now is the time to step up, we're going to practice even harder. So this is a big game for the New York Excelsior. If they don't win today, that might be the beginning of New York starting to crumble, in my opinion.
That's bold. That's a bold
How is
claim,
it
Kyle.
bold?
I mean,
You can't stay undefeated forever. That's the thing. With NYXL all the way at the top, it has been almost a miracle that they've been able to stay up there. They've actually been head and shoulders above the rest of the league. Now we're starting to see teams catch them. Boston caught them in some sense in their previous match. Philadelphia Fusion are nipping at their heels as well.
Man, this is shaping up to be an excellent matchup. Blizzard Arena, let's get the hype going, and let's send it over to your commentators for this game, the wholesome stylings of Monty and Doa.
They're so wholesome. It's like the Mr. Rogers of casting. Well, the Mr. Rogers and the
the dark Mr. Rogers, I guess. It's
Dark
like
Mr.
it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, really. In fact,
Sure.
Golden Boy, that's the first time I think anybody's ever called me wholesome. So
There you go.
not sure if that adjective fits.
Golden Boy
Only
sees
this half.
within. He sees the goodness within you, Monty. Let go of your hate.
No, I'm just gonna Darth Vader it still the straight end.
So, okay, till the end. Till the
very
end.
end.
Eventually,
he
it's
was
going to turn
he
into-
was so close to just being great the entire time, but you know he just gave it up at the end.
He should have just stuck with pod racing. He was good at that. I don't know why I ever stopped.
He should have just stuck
Thanks
with
a lot, Qui-Gon.
conquering the galaxy.
See, that's the difference right there. That's the difference, guys. Well, guess what? It's a Stage 2 Finals rematch. That's right, Philadelphia Fusion versus New York Excelsior. We're going to start things off on Temple of Anubis. And so the first 3 maps in this series, actually, are maps these teams have played against each other before, but that was all back in Stage 1. So I don't know how much of that really actually applies now.
And that stage 1 was a Philadelphia Fusion victory.
It was a 3-2 win, yeah.
So interesting stuff. And with NYXL and Philly Fusion, both of them are coming in 5-1 on Anubis. And one of the most interesting things is that the #1 and #2 Widowmaker final blows on this map are Carpe and Sabielby. So keep a definite eye out for the Widow players on these defenses. Will be standard stuff from the NYXL. Philadelphia Fusion looking at the Tracer Genji dive. Fraggy will switch to the Winston. He will not be playing Reinhardt.
And you know Philadelphia wants that revenge after getting reverse swept by NYXL in the Stage 2 Finals. They're going to get their shot right here, right now. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack here on Temple of Anubis, going for a bit of dive here to get things started, but they're going to have to avoid the shots coming in from Sabielby.
Sabielby going to head back immediately onto the high ground as Libero covers that choke point with the Junkrat grenades. Carpe has made it into the small room. He's going to make it up onto the high ground to the left here of the New York formation.
That's right, has to watch out. EQO, meanwhile, on that Genji. Sabielby takes a shot down to the low ground here. Oh, Fraggy down though. Libero found him with those grenades. The res comes in from Neptuno. Surprised he was safe enough to go for that. And now the duel. Sabielby has to back away. The Tracer's there. EQO finds the kill. It was a team effort from the DPS, but they remove Sabielby. Fraggy dies again, though. So now it's Philadelphia Fusion trying to take it short-handed for the moment.
And
Or 5v5, I suppose.
Yeah, they're going to get one tick on this, it looks like. But Jonas is
They're
playing
close.
the corner, and nobody's on the point now.
I don't know, man. Jonak and Libero taking out the DPS in the back lines, and that tick has not been taken by Philly. And Poco on the run. It was pretty close. It wasn't a bad try, but New York holds.
Yeah, that's going to be a missed opportunity, too, because even if you lose that fight as the Philly Fusion, you wish you had somebody on the point to push it over the top to at least the first tick.
Yeah.
They were confident they were going to win the engagement and take the whole thing afterward. That isn't what happened, and now they're going to pay.
Riptire incoming. Neptuno, of course, expected that one. Wanted to get back to his team anyway. Libero gave him a short direction. Wow, EQO dies after that, too, so that's actually going to slow down Philadelphia a little bit. That staggered death onto the Genji.
Oh, Fraggy and Boombox have been discovered, though, and the rest of their team isn't there. They're getting surrounded right now, and they have to use the trance.
That doesn't save Carpe, though. Sabielby finds a headshot anyway. They got Libero a little bit low, but that's all Philly accomplished really on that one. And that is pretty disastrous.
That is a disaster, Doa. I completely agree with you. Fraggy and Boombox were hiding in that room, hoping they wouldn't get discovered, but Meko smells them, sniffs them out, and then snuffs them out, and they waste the trance as well.
I don't know how you do that through the Diva suit, but that's impressive that he was able to sniff them out. New technology, I guess. It is the future. Meko back on the high ground to counter Carpe. Carpe down due to Libero's trap. Meko dodging that self-destruct. Oh, but Sabielby gets caught by it, though. Rez coming in. Carpe back into the fight right now. They nearly get Meko out of there. And now New York losing a few people. Arc pops the Valkyrie, but he can't keep people alive. And now Philadelphia looks like they have point A pretty much locked down.
And they're going to have a Dragon Blade, too, to try and follow this up. Trance will be a little bit in terms of ult charge remaining for them. So they may have to wait for that to go all in. We'll see how fast Boombox is going to be able to charge it. Good volley shot or two should get him there. And NYXL, Jonas has to switch over now to the Winston, SBB, to the Tracer. They're going to rely now on this Junkrat tire to buy them time.
And meanwhile, Carpe can be looking for some supports. Going to be trying to draw the attention back. Oh, Libero so low. Stays alive, though, for the second. Now onto the point they go. Libero down, finished off by Boombox. Meko gets stuck. He's going to get demeched anyway. He's going to go ahead and pop that self-destruct, I believe. EQ with the Dragon Blade in the back. Gets both supports. Gets Meko as well before he remexed. And Philadelphia, a ton of momentum here onto point B. Libero's Riptire needs to be great. He gets Carpe. That's one. EQ cuts on Sabiel B again, though. They've nearly got point B taken already. And they've got it. 4:21 on the clock. Stellar attack run by Philadelphia.
Fantastic snowball, but New York makes the mistake. They have to be decisive with that Riptire. Libero should have used it to get more time because of all the swaps they had undergone, and with how close the Zenyatta on Philadelphia was to that Transcendence, and the fact they could couple it with the Dragon Blade, they had no protection. So you have to play aggressively with the Riptire in that instance, like we see Houston doing, trying to stop people as they're approaching the point. Every little moment counts, and Philly punishes them for not using it.
That they do. So NYXL with a bit of a disappointing defense to start things off here on Temple of Anubis, but now they've got a chance to attack, a chance to equalize, and this is one of those maps where you can see it go to like 6-5. You know, we've seen some crazy rounds on Temple of Anubis, but any way you look at it, for any team in the league, it's going to be difficult to match 4:21 in the time bank that Philly got.
Yeah, it will be, but New York, they've come through big on this map before.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah, we've seen lots of time bank here where New York has been successful. And the Philly Fusion, they need to look at this first map as a must-win situation, because as we go through the rest of the maps in this series, this Anubis is the Fusion's best map in this lineup today. So they are going to struggle, I think, on the remaining maps in this pool, particularly Ilios, which New York is the best Ilios team in the league, as we typically see Pine coming in and running amok. So the road to a Philadelphia Fusion win, I think, includes a must-win Anubis. They need this strong start.
Yeah, both teams 5-1 on this map. Yeah, you're laughing now, Diva, but we'll see what happens soon.
Well, Poco usually gets the last laugh with these self-destructs.
That is very true. Sniffing them out, apparently.
That's right.
Here we go, New York on the attack, going for some dive themselves. Sabiel B and Libero on the Tracer Genji. Philadelphia defending in a pretty similar manner to what we saw from New York. There's the trigger, they're gonna finish off Arc. Everyone trying to protect him. They keep him alive. That was a close call. EQO went in.
Yeah, Matrix doing a lot of work right there to help keep them alive. And so now, Libero's gonna get the long flank. Sabiel B is still on the low ground in front, hiding. They don't know where he is right now. So this is a really long flank. They're gonna go ahead and dive in, cover Sabiel B as he heads towards the bridge.
And now Libero comes up from behind. Oh, but EQO turns around and gets him with the concussion mine. Nice reaction by Philadelphia to take him out. I mean, you'd have to imagine they kind of knew where he was going to be coming from, but they dealt with him quickly.
I mean, you know where the Genji is. 9 times out of 10 on Anubis attack. He's going to be over there. It's a matter of stopping him.
Ooh, Carpe nearly finds that pick onto Arc.
Libero's back now. He's rejoined with Jonas, Arc, and Jonak. And here's the dive. Actually, Meko boosts in and takes out Boombox.
Meko is so good at finding these little opportunities, and he uses that one to take down Boombox. Unfortunately for New York, though, they lose him soon afterwards, along with Libero here. The dive comes in onto Carpe. He's going to pop the infrasight just to give his team a bit of a view with where the rest of New York is. They've got the respawns coming in fast, but they've used both support ultimates now to try to take this point, and I think Philadelphia so far is able to push them back.
That was a really big investment when they didn't have a target to resurrect. Everyone had already respawned and was heading back towards the point.
Sabiel B misses the stick though. Low health, but finally gets the healing. New York still trying to put pressure on this one. Poco gets back into the mech. It was so close. Sabiel B couldn't get the one clip though, but Neptuno found by Libero, and now New York grinding this point out. finally picking up those kills, and with the 3K from Libero, it's probably going to be about it.
And the big difference, though, Doa, is that while Libero has the Dragon Blade, just like EQO did on the last attack, Boombox has the Transcendence. So there is counterplay, easy counterplay, I should say, available to them. Libero here is slicing and dicing his way to a couple of cleanup kills, playing the janitor.
Yep, finding those
sweeping up the points.
That's right. Boombox needs to stay alive. They need that Transcendence if they're going to get some stability on the point B hold here.
We'll see when this Riptire comes in. If I'm New York, I try and trade that blade for the Trance and come back with 2 support ults.
That's the hope anyway. Fraggy down. It's momentum for New York. No trading necessary just yet. Valkyrie gets used by Arc. New York committing to this one now. Oh, that was some good damage onto Libero. Boombox finishes him off. Whoa, that was a nice right click. Meanwhile, Poco D-Mech, Transcendence comes in now for Fusion. Didn't keep the Diva Suit alive. Libero waits for the Transcendence to end, pulls out the blade. Doesn't get a lot out of it though. They focus him and he has to back away. EQO down. Oh, got Boombox. And New York storms right back in again.
They're gonna just focus down
there
Fraggy, and that's gonna be it. A cat 443, an even faster time for the NYXL.
Well, that was a fencing match of a point B between these teams, but New York able to complete it with still quite a bit of time themselves. 443 in the time bank. They actually do better than Philly.
And one of the things Philly changed towards the end of stage 2 was a lot of it was a shift in Fraggy's style of tanking, where he would play more passively, bait teams in, and then jump back to protect his support line. In this match tonight, he's playing more aggressively again, and sometimes that's been a cause for punishment. He was the first one to fall, even though there was a pretty nice advantage for Philadelphia on their point B defense. They had the tools to hold the map, but the teams, both of them, have been a little gun-shy about using that Riptire on point B, trying to look for the biggest opening instead of using it as a stalling mechanism. And I think that's been punished by both of the teams on the attack.
Got to get that play of the game, man.
No, that's not.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
Get it with some random grenade spam through a doorway.
That's right. I play support, so I never get played the game. Wah, wah. Well, not since the Symmetra beta play the game, so we got a lot of...
Or the 4-player Mercy reses.
Yeah, that's right. Huge res. Lest we forget. Well, here we go. NYXL on the defense again because Philly has a little bit less time in the time bank. They will be attacking first in our extra rounds here on Temple of Anubis. With so much time in the time bank, you kind of wonder if this one's going to go the distance. Safely, though, shutting down EQO early, drawing out that res. New York set up the same way they were first time around. Carpe down. So Philadelphia Fusion having a little bit of trouble getting through the door.
The trap was placed on the opposite side of the choke point. We usually see it where Philadelphia is going through right now.
Yeah.
This time Libero with the Mind Gates tried to trap Carpe with it, where the Tracer goes through on the right-hand side, and it ends up working.
It's a great D-Mech on the Meko, actually. It's going to be very annoying to deal with. Savior gets Boombox, though, another great shot from the Widowmaker. Philadelphia can't afford to lose this stuff. Now he gets Neptuno. 2 headshots, 2 dead supports on the side of Philadelphia. That's the end of that push.
I said it coming in. The 2 best Anubis players in terms of final blows are Carpe and SaveLB. And this is what you're seeing, is that it is very difficult to put pressure on these guys when they're so accurate with their headshots.
Yeah. Philly not wanting to take that Widow duel. Haven't seen as much Widow on attack on Anubis in a while.
SaveLB's at a 20% critical hit accuracy right now, which is very high for a Widowmaker.
Yeah. All right, Neptuno pops the Valkyrie. They're going to use the support ultimate to try to push this one. Ooh, that's a big shot on a Frankie, though. He's got like no health left. On the high ground, Poco gets D-Mech. Carpe down via headshot from Jonak. How many of those have we seen? EQO does find Libero. There's a blade coming out for EQO now. Needs to complete this one. Save will be down. Good start for Philly. They may have it here. That's a big fight. Arc has the Valkyrie out. Going for the blasters. Gets Neptuno. Usually Neptuno the one getting the kills with the Mercy pistol. Rez comes in onto Jonak anyway, but Fraggy punishes Arc for it. Gets Jonak as well. And that should be a point they take for Philly.
Oh, that's self-destruct from Meko. Suspect at the end. He was the last one left alive. But mispositioning from NYXL. Libero stayed on the high ground by himself, which opened him up to a massive dive from the Philadelphia Fusion. He got greedy after he demeched Poco, wanted to get the mini diva kill as well, and they just jumped on top of him. He needed to get to the other side of the point with a concussion mine.
That happens sometimes, you know? You gotta fight that internal momentum once in a while.
Here we are again, Philadelphia Fusion with a Transcendence, wanting to fight on the point, but they're having trouble making it there.
That's right. Carpe tickles the point and then falls back, gets to that Transcendence. Janus down, good focus on the tank. They're gonna throw in the self-destruct. Philadelphia try to push New York back a little bit, get towards a point now. Can they do it? We will see. EQO in the back. Meanwhile, Jonak down, he finds it. EQO with the dive under the support back line. New York not able to handle it. Art gets the res. Now the stick comes in, leaves Janus a bit vulnerable. Now EQO has the Dragon Blade out. Another kill onto Jonak, and Philadelphia Fusion with a great start on B. Riptire comes in, finds Boombox. Don't know if they do, I believe, have the res for him. Yet they do. EQO gets Arc again, and Philadelphia takes it. 1:33 on the clock for them. And if we've seen anything, it does seem like New York gets into these situations where they have trouble protecting the supports, don't they?
Well, in this case, actually, it was a trouble protecting their tank because Janus dove in at that last moment, and he thought Jonak was going to back him up there by having the Transcendence, but Jonak was a little late.
Well, he was dead.
Yeah, well, Jonak was catching up with the Trance to Janus and couldn't make it there in time. So Janus was just a hair too early, and a lot of these timing issues, you know, you have to have the very cleanest of comms to know these little timing windows that you can get there in time to save the main tank. But once Janus is gone, you're standing there with your Trance, doesn't have any value. Boombox was using his Trance to heal up his team while you dove them, and you roll back onto the point. So the snowballs have been really effective for both teams on Anubis, and I love these assault maps that go to multiple time banks because you get to see so many variations and strategies and adaptations over time.
Philadelphia definitely does know how to do aggression. New York paying for it, but remember, they've got a little bit more time on the time bank than Philly did. Not a whole lot more, about maybe 30 seconds or so than Philadelphia had. 4:43 is what the clock reads for New York as that they get things started. And their attack, that is a dangerous health pack right there. Do not want to step on that one.
No, it's not going to do more harm than good, really.
Yep.
Here we go, around the corner yet again. But they will be strafed by some micro rockets.
Ouch, that's a lot of damage. Libero down either way. Carpe on the Widowmaker now. That's an interesting position to be in, actually.
I mean, that's a really risky position to be in.
Yeah, it is.
It
works out, though.
We don't see teams running down there like that, because if you lose somebody as you're approaching, then the spawn advantage is so huge for the attacking team. It can go very wrong, but this time it goes right for the Fusion. Carpe, I mean, well, he's sniping their spawn.
This is taking advantage of the fact that there's no Widow on the New York side. You gotta stick around until the dive, and then, yeah, you just grapple your way out of there. And then Jonak and Libero fall.
This is a great defense by the Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah, you really don't see teams push this far up, but they're really, again, you know, taking advantage of the fact that nobody's contesting this Widow right now. Hide behind the palm tree.
Poco's going for it, though.
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
He's trying to flush him out. Dropped right down. Now they're going to fall back. Infrasight is up. Everyone threatened by Carpe's sights, and
that's a dangerous place to be.
He's playing so aggressively.
Oh, Carpe, are you really doing this? Wow, that was super risky to walk out like that. It's one small dive away from death. And there goes Janus EQO with that Riptire. That was nice delay, just killing that tank.
That was just a great bait by the Philadelphia Fusion. So at this point, New York knew that the grapple was down from Carpe, so they think they can come in onto the high ground and punish him. But instead, guess what? There's already a Riptire that hits them instantly as soon as they get up onto the bridge.
Well, you just used your movement abilities to get there, too, so you're not getting away from that Riptire.
It's just a really nice mind game by Philly.
Yeah. Wow. Great defense for these guys. Poco living up to his name, poking a little bit here before falling back.
New York need to do something quick because they've got a long way to go on this map.
Big dive coming in now. Carpe backs way off there. But Libero right there to harass him on the Genji. Gets the healing just in time from Neptuno, who pops that Valkyrie, and that gives Carpe the opportunity to kill Libero.
Try and come in now, but the Valkyrie is already finished for New York. They will take out Carpe and start to control the top of the point.
And Art getting into the action with the Mercy pistol there too, and now Boombox down. New York has had enough of this. They are coming in. And Janus with the Primal Rage gets Neptuno. EQO down as well. Boombox with the responding kill on Nemeko, but Poco now the only one on the point. Gets demeked, and that's gonna be about it.
Yeah, but the price was really steep for New York. It took so much time for them to take that win. Philly, they rolled the dice on that one. They said, okay, it's going to be a high-risk, high-reward defense, but it ends up working out great for them. They're sitting there with a trance. They're sitting there with a Riptire, and it's almost certain that New York is going to finish, if they finish at all, with a lower time bank.
Yeah, that ate up a lot of time on point A, and that's what you want to do. Libero now just waiting for an opportunity to get in the back lines with the Dragon Blade. He's moving forward. You know where the Genji is coming from. It's just a matter of stopping him, right? Fraggy down. Transcendence comes out to cover the res from Neptuno. Libero just gonna wait this one out. Here comes the Riptire. Have to wait that one out too. Oh, Meko gets it. Okay.
Dragon Blade.
Yeah, I was gonna say it may be go time for Libero here. There's the dive. Trying to disrupt a bit, but Libero's just waiting for it. Waiting for everything to come out right after the self-destruct
he didn't find the diva. She was in the corner.
Oh, man, he gets back to the big health pack as well. That was just not the right target to go for Libero with that Dragon Blade, and he's going to want that one back. Poco gets demacked anyway, but they lose Jonak. This has turned into a weird brawl on the point right now. Neptuno has the Valkyrie active, and not a lot of teammates to keep healed with that one. Janus keeping people pushed back towards spawn, and that's given New York a great position here on B.
Yeah, 2 ticks they've already taken. Sabiel will be nearly back to the point. Everybody up for the side of the fusion.
There goes Jonak, though. Nice pick from Carpe with the pulse bomb. And now Philadelphia pushing back. New York really needed to actually win that fight right there and fully take the point. Now they're going to end up with a lot less time in the time bank if they're able to finish.
I mean, this is a disaster. Boombox has a trance, Riptire's up, so is the Primal Rage for stalling out just in case they need more time to respawn. And New York has a lonely pulse bomb, and Arc is staggered.
No. That's going to be another large amount of time that New York is without their Mercy. How do you even get back to the point at this point? Philadelphia might just have this one locked up. They're getting aggressive with the defense, but why not, right? They just have to watch out for the back cap, and Boombox right there with the kill into Sabiel, so you don't need to even worry about the Tracer getting there. 5 seconds remaining. New York trying to touch. Janus is the closest one right now. EQO sends in the Riptire to stop it, and New York can't get there. Philadelphia winning game 1.
I love the way they played that defense.
That was great.
It does take a certain amount of chutzpah to try and play that aggressively when you know that how fast an assault map can snowball, but they pull it off, and they do it in pretty spectacular style, chasing down those kills after Arc dies on point B, making sure that nobody can get back to the point and even give NY a chance.
Been a late game indecisiveness from Libero's Dragon Blade too. New York looking a bit disjointed in that final attack. We'll see if they can pull it together for map number 2. Don't go anywhere. We will return right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
That's going to be
Philly
it.
did it. Philly in the semifinals will take it.
They have just shocked the world and have solidified their spot in today's title match against the NYXL.
No matter what, you go home after this.
Yeah, that's the
So it's better to win than lose. So let's win.
Primal Rage coming in for Fraggy. Arc trying to get it across the line. Push back. Overtime down. Map 1. Philadelphia Fusion.
Let's go.
It's going to be the Graviton Surge. Fraggy thinks the pain train. The Fusion are going to get even more aggressive if that was even possible. Sabiobi though, he's done. Can you believe it? The Philadelphia Fusion stand on the precipice from being your Stage 2 champions.
One more.
And New York now know what their task is. They've got to hold out against this barrage from the Philadelphia Fusion. Set him up and he'll knock him down. It's a game of dominoes and the Fusion just can't win. No way he's going to get to the point. What? A full hold. And that is how you bounce back.
A little bit of a reality check there for Philly.
QO blown up on the 76 as he tried to approach. You better believe we get a map 5.
This used to be our map, guys. Let's bring it back. $100,000 on the table.
Philly come out storming through Gibraltar.
What? And Sabiobi's not done there. This isn't working. Philly can't play on the Widowmaker, has to fight the old-fashioned way, but it won't be enough. And the NYXL stand finally at the top.
New York XL, your Stage 2 champions. They are officially the best team in the world right now.
So I talked to the Philadelphia Fusion about this Stage 2 Finals rematch where they got reverse swept by the NYXL. Now, Neptuno said, you know, it's no big deal already. It's just another match. And then EQO came in and was like, no, what you talking about? This is super important. We want to get our revenge. So the opinions on whether or not this is a grudge match for them may differ, but they all agreed on one point, which is that this time around, it's going to be a completely different scenario. During the Stage 2 finals, they were exhausted. They just played the semifinals, which was a really tough match, and now they had to go up against NYXL, and they felt fatigued. But today, they feel like they've improved a lot since, and they're coming in fresh. But, you know, so does NYXL. So let's see who can take the W today, and we're going to find out together with Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Zoe. Well, so far, Philadelphia looking a bit fresher than NYXL on map number 1. We'll have to see if New York can tie it up here as we move towards our hybrid map. It's going to be in Mbani.
Yeah, and they've really flustered New York. New York fell apart on those aggressive defenses, and they knew they had the number, kept getting the picks over and over and over again, pressing their player advantages when they would get a pick early, and that led to a pretty convincing a win after that initial time bank. So they found, obviously, something that New York is uncomfortable with. But speaking of discomfort, Philadelphia not the most comfortable team on Numbani. So this is going to be, I think, a much harder mountain for them to climb than playing Anubis, which is one of their best maps. But this is where Philadelphia can really entrench themselves and say, all right, we need you to reverse sweep us just like you did in those Stage 2 finals.
Well, that's the hope if you're Philly, right? I mean, it's got to be a little bit agonizing to kind of think of that reverse sweep. And if you do win 2 games in the series, suddenly, you know that thought is going to be in the back of their minds. But we'll see how things go on Nimbani. It is interesting. I do feel like teams like Philadelphia are starting to kind of figure New York out a little bit. And I do think the key is kind of looking at how the supports focus on each other so much. And just like we saw in Anubis, that does kind of leave the DPS and the tanks on their own once in a while.
Yeah, it does. And this is going to be an interesting look that we see from the New York XL. Usually they run Pharah here on Numbani. They're one of the last teams in the Overwatch League to do so since we've started Stage 3. But this time, Libero back onto the Genji. So we'll be Tracer Genji instead. And the Philadelphia Fusion looking like Widow and Genji is going to be the name of the game. They will be anticipating Libero to play Pharah here.
Carpe swaps over to the Tracer at the last moment, so it's going to be mirrored compositions from both teams here. Well, almost mirrored anyway. Zenyatta versus Lucio. It's Neptuno sticking on the Lucio, it looks like. There's a dive from Frag immediately. They're going aggressive. It's kind of pushing people off that high ground now. Neptuno down early. Oh, man. And there goes Boombox. So nobody was kind of keeping the support safe there, and New York took advantage.
So Philadelphia tried this strategy because they were expecting the Pharah, and because New York plays in the past, they play Ana on the low ground, they play Ana Mercy.
Right.
So when you speed boost in, you think, okay, we're going to get there before this Pharah can poke us and do a lot of damage. They were not anticipating the dive composition to be so easily be able to counter dive them, and that's why they're switching now. That's why they're switching now to the Junkrat and the Widowmaker.
Yep, Carpe and the Widow, EQO on that Junkrat as they push in again. Carpe looking for shots, but nobody's showing themselves right now. Save will be down though. Fraggy finds a finishing blow there. Carpe running from Meko now. Meanwhile, Arc getting a little bit low. You can see up there. Boombox down. Jonak finds a Zen 1v1. Carpe still looking for shots on the outside. Generally has that damage boost. And Philadelphia slowly trying to grind their way in here. The res comes in onto Boombox.
Yeah, Libero and Meko just trying to loop back around. Arc is only just
Libero.
and Libero can't get to the health pack.
Wow, great pick by Fraggy, finding that Genji. EQO gets Jonak, and Meko just hasn't been able to participate. He was trying to keep Libero safe, but that kind of took him away from the other members of the team that needed some help too.
Now, opened up by Fraggy and the kill from Sebilby, even though they traded for the Zenyatta. Resurrection there for the Philadelphia Fusion. I love the swaps that we saw nearly immediately from Philly, realizing that their tailored strategy against the Pharah defense was not going to work because they weren't playing the Pharah, and then they swapped to punishing the forward placement of their dive. So they had two plans in mind here, the Philly Fusion, coming into Numbani, and counters for both lined up.
Working out so far. Carpe with another big shot onto Jonak. As the payload rolls forward, you usually don't see a lot of stalls on B, but it's a good start either way. Arc gets a res in. That's going to be Poco using the self-destruct to try to remech, but Sableby finds him before he can get back in there. Oh boy, and then Carpe got him coming around the corner. Gotta watch out for that self-destruct though. Carpe can't get out of the way, and that's a kill for Meko. The res comes in immediately for Neptuno. And there's Riptire. Oh dear Genji. You could not escape the tire.
Yeah, they'll take out Libero and move the payload a smidge, but I'm not sure the value that a lot of those ultimates had for the Philadelphia Fusion. Riptire used, self-destruct thrown away, Primal Rage used, and now New York is going to have good odds at holding here for a little bit on B with everything they have in their ult bank.
They're going to give it a shot with just a little under 2 meters remaining here. Jonak has to pop that Primal Rage. Felt a bit of pressure here. Carpe getting chased down by Sableby. Makes shot to get its healing immediately from Jonak. On that Zenyatta with the ultimate. Now Philadelphia pushing forward again. They get Jonak Froggy down. Neptuno comes in with the res on the Winston. Boombox trying to keep people up with the Transcendence here. Carpe feeling a lot of pressure here. Backs away. Janice all over him. Uh-oh, and the Dragon Blade comes out. EQO getting chased down. Carpe trying to dodge the blade, but it's hard to do that. But Poco returns to protect the remaining members of his team, and that's a lot of players from New York out of the way. Point B easily taken by Philly.
Libero struggling with the Dragon Blades and the timings tonight. That was another one where a lot of his team was already dead. It was a Hail Mary of a play, and now they're coming back in. Oftentimes, Libero will play Soldier for the remainder of this defense, but he hasn't swapped over yet.
All right, Philadelphia. About 4 minutes to get point C done. Janice getting chased in there. They've got him in the room. He's down. A little bit on his own here. EQO throws in another Riptire, gets the D-Mech onto Meko. Both tanks out of the way. Philadelphia with a great opportunity to push forward here. Meko not living too long. You wanted to respawn anyway, so no big deal. Just wanted to die on the payload and stall it out. Philadelphia nearly there though, and man, this has been a fast attack run. New York with one last chance to defend this one. They gotta get there though. They finally get there right at the very end. Arc very close to his Valkyrie. Neptuno already using his Mercy ult. Here comes the self-destruct. New York trying to get people out of the way. Carpe waiting for it. Oh, Sableby found the kill onto Boombox. Jonak with the Transcendence. They push Philly off completely. Philadelphia, if they want to back up, they can. They've got so much time.
Libero all alone in the back line does dash behind some cover for safety.
Yeah, I mean, he was saving that dash, so that was a bit safer poking than we've seen earlier in the map anyway. Here we go, New York just trying to hold Philadelphia from turning that last final corner.
They actually pulled the Valkyrie out of Arc too. That's
really good.
And then jumped away. So Arc gets no value out of the Valkyrie. And they're coming back in once again. And they have a trance. So Philly wanting to use the Riptire and the Transcendence to push it the last few meters.
Where is everybody? Gets the D-Mech onto Meko again. Janus, meanwhile, falls. I think he went for a bit of a dive, and Philadelphia was ready. Meanwhile, EQO comes around. He's right next to Spawn. He's right behind you, and that is disaster for New York. Arc down as well, and Philadelphia nearly has it here. Dragon Blade for Libero. Gets two. Gets a bit more before he finally gets run down, but is it enough? Janus back, he gets the respawn. If they can finish it, maybe they can get there. JJoNak diving towards the payload, gets booped up in the air, taken down. They're grinding it out. Savior will be still there with Arc, though.
Now Libero,
both those guys.
He's on the Desperation Sombra, so coming back around. It's only Libero and Savior. Meko finally back.
Well, New York doing a great job of just staggering people, jumping on the payload and holding it from making it all the way. Moko gonna get D-Mech here, it looks like. The tire comes out. Neptuno a little bit on his own. EQO gets a kill on Meko, but New York slowly pushing people back. Philadelphia, though, they've got the bodies. They can keep trying to grind this one out. Crazy end of this one.
That's absolutely nuts. Savior will be coming back with a pulse bomb right now. Libero caught out on the flank and killed. Arc has the Valkyrie.
Yep, that's right. Needs to keep people alive here. Well, Janus zoned out. He's going after Carpe in the back line, so EQO in that side room. There's the self-destruct. He's going to pop the Riptire, maybe try to get him before he gets back in the mech. He gets Janus and Savior, and that's going to be Philly finishing an admirable hold at the end from New York, but Philly completes.
That was so difficult for New York. The staggering onto the payload ends up getting them a lot of time. Only a minute remaining for the Philadelphia Fusion, but the Fusion push it through in the end. It's so hard in those last few meters when there's a Widowmaker as good as Carpe on the other team, because you have to make a lot of hard decisions about whether you're going to protect the payload or whether you're going to try and zone out the Widowmaker, and neither's great.
So New York at least able to take what would have been a very scary time bank from Philadelphia and turn it into a much more manageable one at 1 minute and 4 seconds. Now New York's turn to attack. We'll see what they decide to bring out.
We're taking a look at it right now, and it may be Libero on the Widowmaker, so completely moving away from the Forest strats that they've preferred recently.
It'd be interesting. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen Libero play Widowmaker, but we do know that they do have that strength and Pharah on this map sometimes.
Now, I think it's harder to play it against Philly because you assume that Carpe is going to be on the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
So maybe you just don't take that risk against the Fusion as a team, and indeed it will be a Junkrat and a Widowmaker on the defense.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
New York getting ready to go. They were not able to win it in the first map. See if they can complete with more time in the time bank. But then again, that's what they did on Anubis as well. And Philadelphia just came up with such a strong, slightly different kind of defense on Anubis.
Braggy there, only 3 deaths on attack. Janus had 5. Janus has been dying first in a lot of these fights. He's been jumping in by himself for the most part. And it's been creating space, but it hasn't resulted in favorable trades for New York.
Philadelphia's been doing a good job of splitting up New York as well. One thing Meko tends to do on the D.Va is he's a very protective D.Va. He likes to make sure the supports are safe, likes to make sure the DPS are safe as well. Oh, Frankie not safe right now, a kill from Meko. And he likes to take just these little offensive opportunities when they appear, but generally he's going to be farther back than some other D.Vas, so that does leave Janus on his own once in a while. Oh, Carpe.
Carpe was pushed out onto the low ground temporarily, peeks around the corner, and there's JJonak's head waiting for him on the high ground. Fraggy will leap over to protect the body, so there isn't a resurrection available, and that means New York just backs off and will be waiting for JJonak to serenely float back to the rest of the team.
Such a dramatic pause before you said the body there. The body. Wow. Sounds very serious. Here we go. A little bit of pressure put on the point right now from New York. Just tickling it. Get Philadelphia a little bit uncomfortable.
And now Libero Still looking for some shots here, but there's nobody really putting any pressure down. Sabielby's on a long flank, but he has to just zip over and use his dashes to rejoin the team.
Oh, EQO did not see that one coming. Did not expect the Widowmaker on the stairs behind him. Rez comes in for Philadelphia anyway. Yeah, and I know, and Fraggy chasing him down. New York really struggling here. I mean, everybody's just getting so disjointed here. Philadelphia is just peeling New York apart like an orange.
Yeah, and when we look at the high ground, sure, you can take that peak if you're a Libero, but there's nobody there to back you up. And simultaneously, Fraggy jumps over, handles Libero, while the rest of his team just pushes in with some support ultimates and cleans up the rest of the team. So Arc can't double back to help out.
Makes it tough. Minute 45 or so left on the clock for New York Excelsior. Carpe back up on the high ground here. How will New York decide to approach it this time? Jonak on his own. Oh boy. Jonak's in big trouble right now. Yeah, saw that one coming. Riptire coming in, gets the D-Mech on the Meko as well.
Libero just is really struggling, and he has to switch over to the Genji late in this round. He'll probably get a Dragon Blade just as we hit overtime if it comes to that point, but there haven't really been any cracks in Philadelphia's armor on this defense.
Well, the communication on Philly must be really good right now, although it's a bit more lacking now. The boombox is down, but the res comes in from Neptuno. But it just seems like Philadelphia is communicating really well about saying where everybody is so they can capitalize on it. Now the dive from New York comes in, and with less than a minute remaining, New York needs to get something done right now. They get one tick. Fraggy dives in. He's got the Primal Rage. They pop it immediately. Still just one tick for New York. Transcendence used by Jonak as he feels the pressure from Fraggy's Winston. Arc down. Carpe finds yet another shot. 2 ticks taken now. Sabielby has just sat on the point. The healing on the EQO is going to make it hard to get rid of the D.Va. Nice stick, though. Carpe down. And Libero trying to take advantage of the chaos with that Dragon Blade going deep onto the Philly back line. And they may have finally got the payload going.
Just EQO jumping onto the point in desperation, looking for that respawn. Libero pulls out the Dragon Blade late again. Gets a kill with it, but not sure you really needed to use that there.
Yeah, Libero's Dragon Blades have not been great tonight.
They look disjointed with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And oftentimes being pulled in situations where you'd rather have it for the next fight, but it was a bit do or die. And New York now just hoping that they can even make it to the end of the map with such a small amount of time in the bank.
Yeah, point B you'd expect them to take, but it's going to get really tough on C, and it's going to get even tougher when you lose Jonak like that. Another Riptire coming in for EQO. See what he can find. Being scary, chasing down Sabielby, and yeah, you can be quick tracer, but it's hard to outrun the tire. Oh, Carpe getting super aggressive. Wow, here comes the spawn camp.
Again,
oh, man.
That's a beauty. Arc is on the other side of the spawn, too. He can't get there.
No, what can you do, man? The support's pinned down. Finally, they chase Carpe away, but just the delays have been so creative from Philadelphia Fusion. Their positioning has been really creative and aggressive, both on Anubis and now on Nimbani.
And New York clearly has no idea what to do about this.
Seems that way. This is crazy right now. NYXL struggling to even complete B. Now the dive comes in. They pop the Valkyrie. They're going for this one. Orbit Discord onto Janus. That's an easy focus onto the tank there. There's a stick onto Poco. Takes a lot of damage. Gets back to the health pack. Back to full health almost immediately. Sabielby not getting enough out of his Tracer ultimate. Libero, again, kind of on his own. Meko goes forward to try to help him out, but gets pushed back immediately. Poco's still got that self-destruct. We know what Poco can do with those. EQO, ooh, there we go. A little bit overeager. Going to the room against a few members of New York. That's going to be a problem. Can they cover the res? Possibly they can. They use Boombox's Transcendence to do it. Poco's still just guarding the payload, keeping it from moving forward here. And now they focus Janus again. Takes a lot of damage, forced to pop that Primal Rage. They're not done yet, though. Neptuno taken out. That's a problem, is New York finally getting a little bit of purchase here, moving forward. Although Carpe does get the D-Mech, so Philadelphia's still not in the worst spot ever. Oh, now Jonak down. And Poco waits behind the register to get his mech back again. Philadelphia Fusion winning a huge fight right here. They finished Janice off, and now just 20 seconds remaining, and it's only Sabielby alive on the card. He needs to get out of there.
The thing in Overwatch is that when you are on the attack first, you always know what the stakes are for your defense, which can change how you play. You can play, if you have so much time, you can afford to play more aggressively into your opponent, and that's what the Philadelphia Fusion are abusing right now.
That's been brilliant. New York with a little bit of an ult advantage, though. We're into overtime, and they need to use it to push a long way here into point B. Philadelphia just wisely pulling back. They're like, all right, let's regroup, make sure we're in a good spot to fight. EQO sends that tire back. Oh, he does not get anything, though, out of it. Janice down, though. Somehow they found him. Janice has been really on his own throughout a lot of this, but now Libero comes in with a Dragon Blade, gets EQO. Can't get Boombox, so Carpe there to finish him off. Nice protection of the supports. And Philadelphia pushing New York back. Boombox, ooh, he barely got out of the way of that self-destruct. And nobody's on the payload. Philadelphia goes up 2-0 against New York. It's flashback time.
Familiar feelings for both the Philadelphia Fusion and the NYXL as we head into halftime. Nobody could get on the payload, and at the end, it was only Sabielby and Arc who were alive. They would have died instantly had they come in, but it has been dominant from Philly.
6 start from Philly, though, giving New York their second loss of the stage, both on Anubis and Nimbani. See if they can keep it up after halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
We got a little deja vu here, folks. The Fusion lead the NYXL 2-0 at the half. But what happens next? Well, we're gonna have to wait and find out. Welcome back to the Destiny Room. Golden Boy alongside with Reinforced Sideshow. Gentlemen, what a game we've seen so far. We just treated some excellent Overwatch today.
We really have. This has been a stellar performance from Philadelphia Fusion. It looks like a tactical dismantling of NYXL as well. You know, Wizard Kyung, the analyst, the head coach for NYXL, was talking about the lack of prep that they were able to do in the Stage 2 finals. But Philadelphia Fusion look like the guys who've been doing all the preparation work and the strategy building for this game.
Well, let's go into the highlights real quick. But Reinforce, your thoughts on this Anubis?
I mean, overall, I think that New York, they got a pretty good push themselves, and Philadelphia both had a lot of time to work with. But then it came down to Neptuno having some great play here on point A to stall out the New York Excelsior, and they bought themselves a lot of time, and then New York doesn't get that opening they needed on the attack as well, and it just felt like Philadelphia Fusion overall, they just were a bit more clutch when it came down to these assault fights, where you need to have a good opening and then capitalize on those good openings with good ultimate usage.
Both teams were very good on the offense, apart from the final push from the NYXL, and that was the real game changer. Before that, both teams were completing fairly easily, really good offenses, able to set it up perfectly, and then Philadelphia Fusion suddenly turned on the aggression. They're playing much more aggressive on the defense, punishing slight positioning mistakes from the NYXL, really going aggro on point A and point B, and I think it caught NYXL off guard, and they weren't able to complete, and they just take it like
well, that. The thing is, though, they were certainly caught off guard by the fact that Philadelphia were pressuring the tanks of NYXL so well, Johnny, and I know you were pointing that out specifically because it was very direct what Philadelphia were doing here.
Yeah, and Monte Cristo brought it up on the cast that Fraggy were using a lot of weird and maybe more aggressive jumps. So I took a look at Fraggy, and what we're going to see is Fraggy playing a bit more unorthodox style, I would say, a lot of weird things. So we got a telestration going on, and we can take a look at what happens. So when we go into this, we're going to see that Fraggy is up here with the Genji and the Tracer, as you expect. Okay, so we're gonna set up the dive, right? That's what's going to happen. You're playing the Genji and the Tracer. But we're going to see that they take very weird positions. Now you're all the way over here. How are you gonna dive onto this? This is pretty weird positioning for a dive, I would say. And so then Fraggy is going to do a pretty unorthodox jump all the way to the backline and take a duel with Janus. And this doesn't make any sense because now Carpe is in a position to dive onto the backline, but Fraggy, he's taking a tank duel. So this is not really a dive coming out of the Philadelphia Fusion at all. So we're going to see that Fraggy, he's going to play a bit slower, take some poke, and right around here, he's 1 health, you can pretty much see. So New York Excelsior, they want to capitalize on this. And I think that Philadelphia Fusion has a great read. So Janus is going to jump in blindly and try to kill Fraggy because a call is coming out that Fraggy is slow. But what the Philadelphia Fusion do so great is they straight collapse onto Janus. And if this is not collapsing, I don't know what is. There's just 5 members onto Janus, and this is Philadelphia's opening. And I think they do this on purpose. I actually think they're targeting the tanks of the New York Excelsior. Janus is in the lineup today. They're playing a bit more Junkrat, Widowmaker style, and try to capitalize these weird flanks coming in from Janus. So this is straight up a masterclass in 4D chess, I would say, from the Philadelphia Fusion.
It felt like
so
they were
far.
just dangling the carrot in front of them in that overhead, right? Because you clearly saw it goes right in and just melted immediately.
I've seen them do this when they played against London as well. When they finally came out with the win in the Stage 2 playoffs against London, they were doing the same kind of thing. Fraggy would get pretty weak, take an aggressive position, get weak, jump to somewhere that's kind of safe, and when the enemy team tries to punish him, the whole of Philadelphia Fusion collapse. Now, whether this is a big brain play from Fraggy or whether this is Philadelphia Fusion, the rest of them making the best of having a bit of a weird tank, perhaps remains to be seen. Well, but the fact of the matter is the strat works so well.
They kept it going, though.
Yeah.
In Numbani. So this is where you got to ask the question, is it a little bit of a brainless gameplay, or is it big brain gameplay?
This is where I started to question what the Philadelphia Fusion are actively trying to do, because they rarely play a Widowmaker and Junkrat composition. And I think they're actively targeting Janus in the lamp. They know how he plays, they know how to shut him down, and from there you have a 6 versus 5 man advantage. I would not be surprised to see New York Excelsior bring out Mono for the next 2 remaining maps, but Philadelphia Fusion changing up their style completely. because they realize they can't play the same versus Janus as they do versus Mono. And this is the big brain play coming out of Philadelphia and why I think they're going to win this series.
NYXL, they love to get a read on their opponents. They love to do a lot of preparation. So what's the counterplay to that? You come up with a brand new style. We have not seen EQO play the Junkrat alongside Carpe on the Widow before. Yeah. It's reminiscent of Houston Outlaws style, and they played NYXL to a 3-2 game, kept it pretty close. The great thing about that style is that to counter it, NYXL would have to play very aggressive. And NYXL are not a very aggressive team. At the moment, they're playing very slow, very passive, just trying to poke and prod, and that gives Carpe the time and EQO the time to build up ultimates and to be able to get picks. It also gives them the time to get big resurrects off again and again and again. Neptuno is having a hell of a game. He is being able to pick up every single person that gets picked early on in these fights, and they are punishing Ark's resurrects. This, to me, is one of the biggest differences between Philly and New York in this game. Whereas normally you would think of Ark as being the best Mercy in the league, Neptuno is putting on a masterclass, and the entire team is playing around him. Look at that, a bubble placed down by Fraggy perfectly to be able to revive Boombox. They get the distraction off, he comes in for another res. Neptuno has the most resurrects of any Mercy main in the league as an overall, apart from Altering, who plays for the Shanghai Dragons, and they're just dying all the time.
That's not what you think about the Philadelphia Fusion, right? Because you'd think about Philadelphia as a very mechanically skilled team. You have Carpe, Shadowburn, EQO, all these great individual players, right? But really what they're showing is great strategy and great tactical ability in these games. And it's really impressive to me because it shows just how good of a team it is. Is this the best team in the league? It's a bit too early to say. But they're working on it.
You guys are making these bold predictions. I will say, though, that all of this just... You know, when you look at Overwatch as from a casual perspective, right, which a lot of our viewers are watching for the first time, you know, oftentimes they look at it and think to themselves, oh, this is just a lot of commotion. This is just a lot of craziness. But there is just this inherent strategy that is being displayed here, and it is so well done. And I agree with you. Maybe the Philadelphia Fusion, maybe they are the best team, most well-prepped team in the league at this point because of what we're seeing.
Let's just calm it down. They could be.
They could. Hey, you're the one who said it. I'm just reaffirming your point because I love you.
Okay?
Okay.
Not yet. We'll agree to disagree. I don't want Monty screaming at me later, okay? Because...
Well, I don't know if you heard. I tried to call Monty wholesome, and he said he's
not wholesome.
Literally Darth Vader. So I'm just gonna move on with my life. Monty's an evil person. But you know, that's it for halftime here. And here's the thing: earlier in the week, we actually had a chance to sit down with Pine, Big Daddy Pine, from the NYXL, to get, you know, what he likes to do, his sensitivity settings, right? Kind of break that down for us, and how that could make such a big difference when it comes to accuracy. And if there's one player that you want giving you tips on how to be more accurate, it's that guy, 100%. So this is Game Set, sponsored by Omen by HP.
And here we go, Fury, Chop, Pine. The big boss leading the charge here for the Excel today. A lot of people excited to see his McCree back in action.
제 닉네임은 파인이고요. 뉴욕 엑셀시어에서 DPS를 맡고 있습니다. 지금까지 대회에서는 맥크리랑 미도로 주로 썼습니다. 컴퓨터에 맨 먼저 앉았을 때 제일 먼저 바꾸는 거는 일단 그래픽 옵션. 일단 FPS라고 프레임을 높이게 하려고 좀 다 낮게 써요, 일부러. 이 컴퓨터처럼 성능이 좋은 컴퓨터라도 저는 낮게 쓰는 거 편해합니다. 렌더링 스케일은 100 쓰고요. 지금 그래픽을 보면은 1600에서 900 해상도를 쓰고 200Hz를 사용합니다. 제가 맥클이랑 위도우 센시가 왜 15인 이유가 뭐냐면요, 첫 번째로 제가 베타 때 아주 처음 초창기 때 썼던 감도이기도 하고, 감도가 느린 유저들을 보면은 샷은 되게 엄청나게 정확한데 화면 전환이 되게 느려가지고 맞추기가 힘들어요. 대신 감도 유저들은 정확도가 좀 안 맞는 대신에 화면 전환이 빨라서 뭔가 대응하는 게 정말 빨라져서 저는 일부러 감도 높게 썼고, 감도 높은 사람들의 특이점이 잘 못 맞춘다는 걸 제가 좀 극복해냈다고 얘기할 수 있죠, 저 같은 경우에는.
This guy is going to single-handedly change the point back over to NYXL.
게임을 잘해야 되는 계기는 진짜 노력이죠. 아, 나는 뭐 다른 사람 다 재능충인데 나는 뭐 재능충이 아니라서 노력해도 안 될 것 같다, 이런 마인드 절대 가지고 계시면 안 되고요. 항상 어떻게 하면 잘해지게 되지? 이 선수는 어떻게 쏘지? 나랑 뭐가 다른 거지? 이런 생각을 많이 하면 진짜 좋은 것 같아요.
Pine, Big Boss Pine is on the scene. There's another one. Pine, this guy is unstoppable.
display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I know what everyone is thinking. I know what we're all thinking. We've seen this movie before. The Philadelphia Fusion are up on New York 2-0 at the half, just like our Stage 2 title match. The only difference is this time around, we're not going to Volskaya. We're going to a control map. So the Philadelphia Fusion can close this thing out if NYXL does not get their act together. And while we're on the subject of NYXL, for all my Twitch viewers at home who have the All Access Pass, friendly reminder that we are doing another AMA today, and it will be with the star DPS player, Pine. So all you guys who've had questions to ask Pine, you can hop on in and ask him. Ask him if he's a fan of Metal Gear, because, you know, Big Boss Pine. You can ask him if he thinks he's the 7th man of the year. Anything, you can ask him all those questions when we're all done with the matches today. But anyways, guys, Philadelphia Fusion, they are on the cusp of getting their revenge. Can the NYXL stop them from doing that? Let's find out right now. Get back into the action with our casters, Monty and Doa.
Thanks, Malik. That's right. Philadelphia Fusion up 2 games over NYXL, but it's not over yet. Take your Sour Patch Kids Thunder Sticks, put them together like this. Not like this. This doesn't make noise. This is how you make noise.
That's how you make noise.
That's how I clap all the time, too, actually. But that's what you do.
You should see him in the middle of the cast when he gets excited. It's just,
I'm like, yay!
He looks like a seal.
That's right. I was trained. You know, Sour Patch Kids Thunder Sticks is actually one of the tongue twisters I say before I cast, too. It gets me vocally warmed up. How about that? Well, we've got some subs coming in. It's going to be Mono going in for Jonas.
As suspected by the desk, who may want a switch up off of Jonas' style.
Yeah, Animo coming in for Arc as well.
we've seen this on control points, so not too surprising.
And there he is, the one, the only, Pine coming in for Libero. It's control. It's Ilios. This is Pine's map.
It's Pine territory. Snillo will be in for EQO, of course, on the control map. So having a dedicated Tracer player so that Carpe can go ahead and play the Widowmaker. And I love what the desk was saying about how Philadelphia has changed their style. About halfway through stage 2, they started having these big brain baiting plays where enemy teams would fall into a trap from Philadelphia, and then they would spring it on them and then take the fight. Now, New York is a passive team, but one thing you can do, one thing New York did against Houston was just put Pine in and let him win the duels.
What the what, Pine? 2 midair shots on Carpe as the match begins. All right, let's do this. I'm ready. This is gonna be great. Pine versus Carpe, the Widow battle for the ages here on Ilios. Pine looking for those shots to start things off.
Carpe there, Boombox peeking for Carpe. Carpe showing up with a bit of a damage boost there.
Whoa, narrowly misses a shot onto Pine there. Still sticking with him for the moment. Meko gets a D-Mech onto Poco, and it's gonna be New York grabbing the point first.
Yes, it will. They're starting to just clog up the ramp down into the ruins.
Man, Pine and Carpe are playing this so safe against each other too. Neither one really giving each other many shots. Poco gets rezzed by Neptuno.
Does get the mech back. They didn't take over the territory where Poco fell.
Yep.
And that means the resurrection available. Still a 6-on-6 right around the pit.
Yep, that's right. Pine looking for other shots. These Widows not really wanting to engage right now. Pine, ooh, there's a nice shot. Onto Fraggy, I believe it was. Snillo down. Jonak with a finishing blow there. And
Philly.
now Carpe in trouble. Mano comes in and Sabelby finishes a pick onto Boombox. Good dive from New York. And Philadelphia in a lot of trouble, pushed all the way back to their spawn.
They had been in that room on the side for most of the map thus far, trying to stay out of Pine's sights. Pine had significantly more freedom to move around.
Well, you
and
know
now
what they
he's
say.
already there with an infrasight.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
Oh, God.
I'm done. Goodbye. Goodbye, I'm done. I'm done. See, I'm taking my headset
That was
off.
actually a great one. I applaud that. That was a quality pun there, Doa. I welcome more of those.
Thank you. I'll take your word for it. I'll pour pressure on the Pine now. Philadelphia Fusion tries to take this one back. They've got ults to use, but NYXL, 5 out of 6 available. Someone's got to get on the point, though.
Yeah, Infosight's up for both Widowmakers now, so...
Yep, that's right.
Both of these Widows attempting to zone out the other one. Neptuno pulls out the blaster.
You know, only Neptuno would go after the Widowmaker with a Mercy Blaster. Meko right there, he says, nah, that's not going to happen. Gets the kill with the Diva, and that's going to be a hold for New York Excelsior. They are over 90% right now. Nearly have this point wrapped up.
And I'll do you one better, Doa. No one on New York has died.
Whoa, there's one. Snillo gets picked up by Pine, and no one in New York has died. What?
No one on New York has died yet. Poco gonna try and make that happen, but this is looking like a crazy dominant performance from the New York Excel.
Can they stop it? Can they finish it? Carpe down, Mono takes out the other sniper. Pine free and clear to fire away, and that is it. A 0-death round on Ilios for New York. That's insane.
Ridiculous. 14 elims for the New York Excel and 0 elims so far on Ilios for the Philadelphia Fusion. Airtight defense. Excel showing up on their best map. Ilios is Excelsior territory, and they have to win out from this point forward.
Yeah, I mean, and again, if you're Philadelphia Fusion right now, that thought is in the back of your head. Oh no, not again. Not like this.
Not like this, and especially on a slate of maps that are not favorable for the Philadelphia Fusion. This was the most likely map for them to lose, however, so still plenty of opportunities to come back. They will be on match point for the next 3 maps.
There's a reason that New York is 9-1 on Ilios. It is the map they've dominated. Yep, confirmed.
Captain Planet for the stats update. Just doubling down, just underscoring that one a little bit.
Hey, that's a huge stat, but right away the first kill in this round does go to Fusion. Pine drops. Animo there with the res, though. And they swapped him over to the McCree. It's going to be Carpe on the McCree, too. We've seen a lot more of this on Lighthouse and other maps as well. The McCree taken when the mid-range situation presents itself. Going to be Philadelphia this time, taking the point first.
Yeah, Philadelphia muscling their way into the point, and while New York probes for weakness around the edges, Boombox is going to kill Pine again. Pine rolled aggressively into the open.
I mean, that's Pine, right? I mean, that's just what Pine does on this map.
Another res.
Usually works out. Animal brings him back up. That's the second res used on Pine so far here on Lighthouse. Pretty much on cooldown. I love the teamwork, though, between Carpe and Boombox to set up that kill. And they've already got 25% here on the point. Now New York thinking of coming in. They've got a very fast Valkyrie. Fraggy down early, and Carpe backing away. Grabs that health back, gets some healing from Zen as well. And nice flashbang on the Mono. Wow, that saved the mech for Poco. Oh, did I say that? Nah, it was a bit too close there. Saviulby finds the pulse bomb as well. So that's going to be New York taking pretty firm control at this point.
And that was the New York Excelsior using the fact that Animo had the faster Valkyrie. Very narrow timing window to make that play work before Neptuno gets his own Valk, and he is killed during it. Stick around the corner, takes out Boombox and Carpe, and now it's Philadelphia Fusion looking to retake the point.
43%. That's a good amount taken by Philadelphia. But this Lighthouse is one of those points that's pretty hard to assault once you lose it. Oh, Carpe takes on Pine again, and now it's high noon. Gotta watch out. Sabielby comes from behind and ends that Deadeye pretty quick. Neptuno down as well, so New York Excelsior ahead in the defensive battle right now. Jonax some dedicated healing from Arc.
He's getting
alive.
pocketed.
From Animo, rather.
Yeah, he's just getting pocketed right now. You can see
what New York does.
His HP bar jumping up and down, but he's confident. Just keeps on firing away at the tanks the entire time. And that's how New York is going to hold on and build some more percent.
Animo definitely taking a page out of Arc's book in that regard. Here we go, Philadelphia trying to come back in again. Transcendence used by New York to finish up that fight. Fraggy way behind the rest of the team with Primal Rage.
And a Valkyrie too. Philadelphia choosing to withdraw away from both support ultimates. Now they can come back in. No support ults for Philly either. But at least a better chance to have an even fight now.
That's right. So a bit of a quiet moment as Philadelphia sets back up again for another push here. Pine pushed back in the room. Philadelphia's muscled them off the point right now. They've got some. Whoa, Pine. That's the accuracy we know. And Neptuno taken out as well. Carpe finally gets revenge, but Philadelphia with no supports, and the res comes in again onto Pine. Namo there to bring him back again.
Yeah, that was the perfect play you need too, because after those supports are dead, you can roll right in and resurrect Pine, no punishment. And wow,
that's it.
New York Excelsior just comes out swinging on Ilios.
They're 10-1. They are 10-1 on that map now. A total of 7 deaths for them throughout the entire thing. 2 quick rounds and New York gets themselves right back into the game. Now the question is, can they tie things up on Junkertown? That's going to be our next map here. Philadelphia, again, they're thinking, we got reverse swept in the stage finals, the stage 2. We don't want it to happen again, but New York might have plans to the contrary. We'll see.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
It's go time. NYXL lock it down.
Get out, Philadelphia Fusion say.
Sabior, you can see him waiting in the wing.
Oh my God, Carpe! Carpe! The man is a monster.
Mecca somehow still alive. You better believe it.
Done and dusted. Philadelphia Fusion sweep.
That's huge for New York.
Well, it has been a pretty hype match so far. New York absolutely crushing it on Ilios, and that brings us to our fourth map, Junkertown. So, another map that New York has a lot of great results on. I think it's fairly likely we're going to see a Game 5, but first, we're going to see some subs. It's going to be EQO coming back in for Snillo.
And this is the result of it being a Junkrat Widowmaker focused map, which is also why we will have Libero in for Sabiolbi.
Yeah, no shock at all. Pine going to be sticking around. We've got Arc back in for Animo too. So making that swap back to their standard Mercy player.
I like this look from the New York Excel. I think the Pine-Libero combination, of course, Libero on the Junkrat is the one you want to use. But that said, this is actually one of NYXL's weaker maps, by which I mean they still have a winning record on it, of course.
It's 5-3.
Yeah, it's 5-3. And Fusion has struggled. They're 2-5 overall, but they did overcome a losing record on Numbani to make a pretty definitive victory for themselves earlier in this same match. And I think this is where we are really going to see the theory about Jonas versus Mono's playstyle, and whether Mono will be taking all of the baits that have been offered that the desk discussed at halftime when it comes to the main tank. And also, I think this is a great answer. I alluded to it earlier, but one of the main reasons that NYXL was able to fight back against the defensive style of the Houston Outlaws is that they put Pine in, and Pine turned in an individually outstanding performance. You don't have to play aggressively and dive the Widowmaker or the Junkrat if you're just killing them from range and picking off the supports. So this is where I think Pine has a chance to shine and help New York pull this victory out.
The Pine shine.
That says it's way harder to do that against Carpe these days, because Carpe's been the best Widow as of late.
Absolutely. Philadelphia Fusion. You know, we've seen pretty attack runs on all of our attack defend maps tonight. At Junkertown, you kind of expect that same sort of thing.
Yeah, here's something really interesting actually from NYXL is Jonak on the Roadhog. Now that wouldn't be weird on another team, but New York almost always runs double supports because they like to have Jonak on the Zenyatta. Sometimes he plays the Ana, but to see him off of that is a rarity.
Well, Meko also runs a Roadhog a lot on this map too, so he's going to be sticking with the Diva. Going to go with the triple tank on the defense from NYXL. Triple tank along with the Junkrat, not even, the single support. Here we go. Carpe versus Pine, round 2. Let's do this.
And will be Boombox taking up the Bastion. A lot of times Philly likes to run 2 snipers with the Boombox on the Bastion, but here they're opting just for Carpe. So no Hanzo coming out on the side of the Fusion just yet.
Yep. Payload moving. New York waiting. Let that one. Ooh, Carpe took a shot from Pine. Has to go into hiding for a little bit until he gets some healing. Meanwhile, coming around the corner, it's the payload. The shield is gone. EQO gets the pull in onto Jonak on that Roadhog. Philadelphia pushing people back a little bit. There's the kill onto Jonak, actually. Carpe finishes him off. Arc there for the res. And EQO in a little bit of trouble now. Needs to take that breather. Ooh, finally getting some healing, but that was a close call there. Boombox, though, ripping through the rest of NYXL, and that's going to be a very fast point day for Philly.
And you just can't defend that way if you're the NYXL. They had absolutely everybody on one side of that choke point. So the problem becomes that when you're trying to deal with a Bastion on the payload, there's nobody to deal with the barrier from the other side. You can't wrap around and try and get shots. Pine eventually got there, but it was just a little bit, it was way too late to handle Boombox. So they more or less give up point A for free.
Oh, welcome to point B, EQO. Takes a breather, stays alive with that damage reduction, even gets the hook on Nemeko as he falls back. Stays alive for the moment. lot of ultimates for Philadelphia Fusion. They got that offensive edge as well. Fraggy down early though. There goes the edge. Here comes a Riptire. Goodbye Carpe. And Philadelphia finally slowed up a little bit. Neptuno popped the Valkyrie, but he's not going to be able to keep his team in the fight this time.
And here's the comp mix-up. Fraggy onto the Winston now. EQO taking a blistering array of fire, and he gets body blocked before he can get back through the tunnel to his teammates.
And so now you run into the tricky situation, Pine, as Philadelphia Fusion, where, you know, Boombox has the ultimate for Bastion. Do you keep him on the Bastion for a bit longer? No, you don't. That's the thing. It's even though you've got that ultimate, you get stalled out there, you got to turn it around. Pine gets the kill on the Boombox right away. Forces a res up from Neptuno. This aggressive Widowmaker positioning, though, costs Philadelphia the early res cooldown. It's going to be tough to deal with.
Certainly does. When we have the infrasight, you have the advantage of that knowledge. So playing aggressively, not so much of a problem, and Philly struggling to make it through these doorways and back to the payload.
Pretty much. Poco checking things out with the Diva. A lot of health to survive the shots from the Widowmaker there. Yeah, Pine just putting the Venom Mine down that hallway. You want to be notified if anyone's trying to flank here.
That's Fraggy's actually wrapping around for a long flank. He's just gonna die.
What the what?
That was the most Fraggy play of all time, by the way.
Bad. That was full Fraggy right there. Yep, the term we have for when Fraggy goes full Fraggy. Oh, Pine could not get away from that self-destruct. Supercharger goes down. New York shorthand, but they're going to try to defend anyway. Pulse Bomb comes in, finishes off Meko, and now Poco drops from behind to take out the Supercharger. Fraggy finishes Libero, and Philadelphia Fusion grinding through this fight here.
Jonak not getting much healing, but he is going to get the whole hog in the healing eventually. Doesn't matter, killed during the whole hog itself, and now Arc has to leave Mono to his demise.
Yeah, not going to survive that one. Philadelphia pushing through. Had a little bit of a stall there on the beginning of point B, but they're on the verge of finishing it right here. Looks like New York could still try to defend if they want to.
Yeah, they definitely want to make a play here. Now they're using the Valkyrie and the self-destruct on the point. Here comes EQO with the Dragon Blade.
Oh, gets Meko before he gets in the mech just in time. Chasing down Pine now. The blade gets put away. Pine's still alive for the moment. Chases down Libero. Oh, he actually got him before the Riptire came out, I think.
Yeah, got him during the
animation. Wow, you barely ever see that against a Junkrat, actually. That's crazy.
New York threw everything at that attack too, and that means Pine switches to McCree. Thought about the Tracer for a brief moment, just in case he could rejoin his teammates. But now it will be McCree here. 3.5 minutes for the Philadelphia Fusion. All support ults used in that last fight. We're about back to even here. Philly may be able to buy some room with a self-destruct or with a Primal Rage to get additional distance on the payload.
Jonak finally off of that Roadhog as well. Back onto the Zenyatta. Philadelphia Fusion. A lot of time to push your point C here. Frankie's just going to go ahead and use the Primal Rage. They're just going to try to get the payload as far as they can just to begin things here.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea too. You can always build up to a better ult economy later on, but get as much distance in the beginning. Put them on the back foot. That is what has been successful for Philadelphia to this point.
Frankie down though, got a little bit too far forward, and Libero finished him off. Philadelphia Fusion, they lose Boombox as well, so New York pushing them back. It's a 6v4 right now. They're gonna bring the res in, actually.
Pine on the Widowmaker again too, so he quickly swapped back off the McCree once he realized that that's what Carpe was going to be playing. No real way to handle Carpe in that McCree versus Widowmaker matchup, so I think this is a smarter plan. And
wow, Carpe went high, but Pine was ready for him, shot him out of the air. Now Libero gets EQO. New York with a staunch defense here on C so far. 2 minutes now for Philadelphia. New York has managed to burn 1 off the clock.
Neptuno reset 2 to 0% on the Valkyrie is going to be a major problem as NYXL holds on to 6 ultimates. If they ration their ult economy, they can last a couple of minutes here until this map runs out of time.
Plenty of resources to work with for New York. Philadelphia biding their time to set the second attack up. Trying to find the best way to engage on this one now. The damage boost on the Libero and Pine too, the alternating that Arc is doing here is really making it tough for Philadelphia to make any forward progress here. Now the Riptire comes in. Goes high. Who's he gonna find?
Just waiting.
Goes low. Oh, gets taken out. Carpe there with the shot. They did get the Transcendence out though from Boombox. Now they gotta move forward. They're gonna do it with their own Riptire though, but Libero there to finish it off. Now Poco half health. Oh, he's gonna get D-Mech. Uses that self-destruct. He needs that mech back in a hurry. Jonak down. It's still a chance for Philadelphia to push forward. Couple ultimates used, but Jonak not able to use his Transcendence to keep New York in the fight. He's back now. Arc though falls. Boombox with a big pick there. New York struggling a little bit here.
He sacrificed his life to get the resurrection off on Jonak, and sure that leads to a Transcendence, but there's just nobody to heal.
Yeah, Jonak came back in and there was no one really around. It was just him stopping the payload for mere moments. And now Fraggy comes in with the finish on Nemeko. Things falling apart for New York Excelsior yet again. And that payload is nearly there. Can anybody touch? Libero tries to go in. Now, here comes Mono.
Jonak on the Ana, but he's just not going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Philadelphia Fusion, 20 seconds remaining. They will finish it with a bit of time in the time bank.
That they do, and now NYXL must match them by finishing that point. Jonak with a very weird swap to Ana at the end. Rarely one of the heroes that you see in an attempted stall.
Yeah.
No attempt there at Sombra, no attempt there at Mei or Doomfist. Instead, tries to just get a biotic grenade onto the payload. That was the idea.
Well, yeah, if you've got one of your tanks there and they're trying to stall out on the payload, the team groups on them. If you get a good biotic grenade, deny that healing, you can simultaneously keep your tank alive and get everyone else dead. It's, you know, he went for like the, you know, kind of the highest risk, high reward method of trying to hold the payload at the last moment, but didn't end up working out.
No, and the biggest mistake was honestly Arc attempting the resurrection onto Jonak, because the fact that Arc died, they could have just waited for Jonak to respawn and made a hold deep into point C before the point was captured. They would have had the Transcendence as he came back from spawn. Instead, the resurrect results in Jonak being rezzed in the front line, immediately having to pop the Transcendence and basically doing nothing.
Now, interestingly enough, Junkertown is the only map in this series today that these two teams haven't played against each other yet in the 3 times they've met previously.
Hey, look at that. Jonak has the 51% hook accuracy as Roadhog on Junkertown. So even higher in the defense here, and we'll see if Philadelphia gonna stick with his Neptuno back on the Roadhog, as we can expect. So classic from Philadelphia Fusion.
That's a classic Junkrat trap there.
Classic Junkrat trap. Jonak
feels good.
Will be attempting to play the Bastion.
Yep. Here we go. New York Excelsior on the attack, and Pine steps right into it. Oh no! It's the oldest trick in the book. Trying to tilt the big boss, apparently.
Gotta check those doors. Libero decides not to play the Hanzo beyond the Sonic Arrow. It will be him with the Junkrat attempting to break down these Orisa barriers.
New York pushing forward. Philadelphia Fusion with a chance to win this series right here, right now. A hold anywhere on the map would do it. Echo backs away. Oh, the hook into the reverse hook. You know, when 2 Roadhogs fight, the one who hooks last usually wins.
The one who hooks last laughs last.
He who hooks last laughs because he's still alive.
And that's a big kill, because now Jonak had to back off, doesn't have presence on the payload.
Yep.
At least they have zoned out on the side, so EQO and Neptuno can't get around here. They're just gonna rush the side right now.
Oh boy, I don't know if Philly was ready for that. They lose EQO right away. Rez comes in. Boombox protected long enough to get it. He's over on the Mercy this time, of course. As Neptuno's on the Roadhog. And Philadelphia is still pushing back New York a little bit. Jonak on his own. He's the aggressive Bastion right now. Whoa, it's melee Bastion. I do not know how you live through that. Yeah, he's not going to make it all the way out. Nice hook. But is it enough? No, he can't finish Boombox, and New York sent packing. Oh, yeah, come back. The last hook once again.
Jonak's going to come back with the Bastion ultimate this time. They've got to make this work. They're blitz onto the right flank, unsuccessful because EQO is rezzed and pounding them with grenades in the hallway. Carpe has the infra sight.
Well, he just nearly, one-shot Jonak as he came out of spawn there. That was very close.
Neptuno going to get a hook onto Meko, but not going to actually result in a kill. Not enough damage.
Yep.
With the breather still there and on cooldown. And now New York's gonna back way off again. Go around the other side this time together as a unit.
That shield not gonna last. Oh, here comes the self-destruct. Pine can't get out of the way. There was nowhere to go. And Poco gives them the 6v5. Riptire not doing a whole lot though. Libero takes it out. New York still in it for the moment. Oh, but they lose Arc. Philadelphia with a great hold so far. Only a minute 30 left. Echo Libero down. That's a great whole hog coming in. On the side from Fusion. Neptuno making it big. And 1:20 on the clock now for New York Excelsior. And that payload is not even halfway through. Is this where you give up the Bastion? You've got the ult.
I think you have to at least try to use the ult now.
Sure.
And then maybe you switch off, but they haven't had an opportunity because Philadelphia's defense has been masterful. Every time they set up, there's some other problem. Poco had a fantastic self-destruct.
Oh, this Riptire
Libero needs to do work with this.
Oh, he got it. He got Boombox, and that's going to be the ticket for New York to push forward. Going to be tough for Philadelphia to hold now. Yeah, Poco demexed. This is where it comes apart here on the Philadelphia side. That Riptire from Libero saving the day in the end. And it looks like New York should be able to claim A right here.
And you're happy with this, obviously, if you're the Philadelphia Fusion. You know what the stakes are. They have to make it all the way through the map. And New York just going to rush now while the door is opening to take this high ground. They have to do something right now. Arc is on his way back. And he's going to be the one pushing the payload. Philly there already trying to contest this.
Yeah, just trying to bomb rush right in there with the Bastion, just deny the high ground to Philly. Riptire comes in again. Carpe gets the 1v1 to Widow. Nice kill on Nemeko. And they've got Jonak so low as well.
What a great read by Philly.
Yeah.
They knew that Arc wasn't going to be there. They knew New York's plan was just to try and play as aggressively as possible. They wanted that position to have an easy point B to make it more likely that they would finish Junkertown. Instead, Philadelphia Fusion stack everybody into the stairwell. They have the Junkrat, and it's the New York Excelsior short players that end up on the losing end of the fight.
They're not that short.
They are when they're down 6 versus 4.
Sure enough. Short-handed, here we go, New York. 2 minutes now. They gotta push. It's gonna be so hard to finish the attack round with this amount of time left in the time bank. About halfway through point B now. Our Excelsior. And here we go. Mano drops that supercharger. Jonak with the kill into Fraggy. An opportunity. Ooh, the Diva Suit just barely edged off. It's gonna get the supercharger, but not much else. That's the pick on Demano's neck, though, I believe. No, they didn't quite finish it. It was close, though. They get Fraggy instead. That's one tank. It's not bad. Neptuno diving deep. Oh, that was a bold move. Libero ready, though. And here we go. Now New York winning the fight. Arc with the finish on the Carpe there, and that payload's going to make it most of the way through point B. Philadelphia, not sure if they can get there and contest. I think you got to let it go here, yeah. Especially with the covering fire Pine's putting in.
Yeah, you do have to let this one go, and you're not going to be sad about it if you're Philly too. You nearly brought point B to the overtime status. It's now 2.5 minutes that you've got plenty of time.
Yeah, same.
2 Riptires up, 1 for each team.
What they lost on point A, they certainly did more or less make up on B. It's Pine time.
So it's been Pine time this whole map.
But now it's really got to be Pine time.
He's got to get these picks. Libero going to be the first one to use the Riptire. No shots onto it yet, and they're just going to, E2O going to take it out.
Why not,
with
man?
a Riptire of his own. So
Why not?
A little tire-on-tire violence.
You just cancel them out, right? I mean, and then you don't have to worry about it. I think that's a perfectly good decision from the EQO side of things. Bragging a little bit of trouble. He's got the Discord orb on him and no shield. Here comes the Transcendence. Jonak, they want to dive deep. EQ and Poco down. D-Mech comes in. Fraggy still alive, but no, now he's taken out. And New York just looking like a juggernaut right now coming through C. Philadelphia is starting to scramble a little bit.
And look at Philly's supports. They died with 97 and now 99 up to 100 for Neptuno's Valkyrie. Jonak flies in. Arc will have the Valkyrie as well. The Philadelphia Fusion, they just need to hold for the next 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Mission number 1, get that Valkyrie out of Arc. Then you have your own support ultimates. Carpe gets a kill on Pine. That could be big. Rez comes in. It's out of commission. Here comes a Riptire. Libero did work with it before. Jonak gets a kill on the Carpe, meanwhile, somewhere. Transcendence being used, waiting it out. Goodbye, Fraggy. Boombox taken out as well. Philadelphia Fusion just falling apart here. And with 1 minute remaining, New York has a chance to take it. Oh, Pine peaked. He peaked a bit too early, but it doesn't matter. New York gets it there. And they've got 1:30 now on the clock. They ended with 35 seconds. You get that extra minute in the time bank round. And so at the end of the day, NYXL actually exceeds the performance of Philadelphia, but just barely.
And that was such a shocking result, given how long it took them to get point A.
Yeah, it was nearly a full hold on A.
Yeah, they're very scary for the NYXL. Somehow they come out with more time, but it doesn't really matter whether you have that 30 seconds because so often we go to these overtime pushes.
You know, and again, if you're Philadelphia, you're like, not like this. Let's see part of how that kind of came apart at the end of that last match.
Pine onto Neptuno. Here at the end, you see he's gonna grapple during the Valkyrie, pick up the headshot, and that proves to be critical to the attack, cutting off that source of healing.
That's right, Pine coming up big when his team needs him to. Calm in the clutch.
Similar stats between these Widow players too. 22 to 21 eliminations in favor of Pine. Final blows 14 to 12 in favor of Carpe. So it has been on a razor's edge. We knew this Widow battle was going to deliver, Doa.
I love comparing those Mercy stats though. Neptuno 11-5 eliminations, final blows. Arc 1-1. That's Neptuno for you.
That is Neptuno for you.
Here we go. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack one more time. Pine set up already. Let's see how far they can get it. They've got about 30 seconds left in the time bank than New York does, so they've really got to push as quick and as far as they can.
And New York was felled quickly by the Bastion attack last time. They're gonna be all stacking up behind the building yet again, so nobody on the flank right now. Pine is gonna try and flank by himself and find a shot, but EQO is gonna get the hook. He barely escaped.
No.
Transcend. The orb actually saves him.
Poco.
No.
Oh, EQO comes with the right click at the end, but meanwhile Libero with the 2K on the other side. Philadelphia Fusion in a lot of trouble. Both the Phillies tanks chased after that kill. And, or at least, 2 out of 3 chased after that kill, and that left a few other members kind of vulnerable there.
But Jonak dies. Pine isn't back yet. It's a 6 versus 4 until Pine can return.
They're gonna focus on Namano, trying to pull him out from behind the shield. The payload is moving, Fraggy down, Rez comes in, Neptuno makes it happen, but Boombox taken out. Now EQO with the whole hog, just shoving New York back. Any distance they can get on the point is crucial. EQO taken out with Libero's Riptire though. Oh, I don't know, man. Not a lot left in the Arc or the Neptuno with the, oh boy. There we go. That's it. Philadelphia Fusion stopped right there. Even the Valkyrie from Neptuno wasn't enough to keep people up, and that's not quite as far as I think Philly would have liked to push that.
And Philly overcommitted to dealing with Pine on the flank. That's why the Bastion was left alone onto the payload. Libero was able to get there and just bomb him on top of the payload because they used the Roadhog and they tried to collapse onto Pine. It was the other flank that we didn't see where the New York Excel won, dislodging Boombox and setting themselves up for victory.
You know, as much as we criticize Libero's Dragon Blades earlier in the series, and rightly so, I think, his Riptires have been fantastic.
Yeah, he's got 4 Riptire kills on Junkertown to this point to the 1 of EQO.
And it's not even about the kills so much as like when he gets those kills. There have been at least like 3 points so far on this map that his Riptires have been the victory for New York. It's been the reason.
Yeah, the time delays too have been incredibly important. So Philadelphia overcommitting to Pine peaking is their doom, at least on point A, but they still got in a respectable distance for a brief 1 minute of time. Jonak now replaying his performance on the Bastion.
It's going to need to be a pretty epic hold for Philadelphia if they want to hold this. If they want to win this match 3-1, they just have to hold New York back for 1 minute, 30 seconds. New York, though, they have looked so good on Junkertown here, and already Pine with a kill on EQO. That didn't take long.
And there's not going to be a resurrection because they're pulled down by the Halt. The resurrection was interrupted by Halt. That is actually huge.
Crazy. They're going to have to wait for
Yeah, they're going to have to wait now. That is actually a clutch halt.
Yeah, that's massive. Now, EQO scrambling to get back. Philadelphia has to fight that 5v6. Neptuno trying to flank. Here we go. Pulling him in. Libero and Jonak down. EQO. Hey, guess what? He's back.
The hero play. He just jumps with the concussion mine straight on top of the payload.
That does it, man. That works. And now 45 seconds for New York to try to win this one.
That was some balls of steel play there. you know, you're so worried after the pick that there's going to be New York rolling to victory at the end, but EQO simply leaps on top of the payload where everyone on the Excel are stacked up.
What a hero. But he's got to keep it up. 25 seconds now. New York trying to make it happen. They don't have to push the payload far, but EQO, oh, he gets Riptire, he gets two! Libero and Mono down, 15 seconds remaining. Mono gets res, and oh no, they've lost Boombox and Fraggy. New York striking back. Fusion gets Meko though, but they are massively short-handed as New York tries to push forward. Neptuno taking out Poco, needs a big pulse bomb, but he gets nothing. Neptuno walking forward, pushing them away, but Libero won't be moved from the payload. Pine up top firing away with that SMG, and now the payload's moving. They gotta stop it, they gotta make it happen somehow. Poco can't get enough healing, he gets DMX. Carpe though, a kill on the Pine.
And here we go,
trouble
Mono
here.
and Jonak trying to come back. Valkyrie has been popped by Arc.
That's right, another self-destruct comes in. No kills from that one. The payload getting so close. The spawn advantage big time in New York's favor. Neptuno jumping in, just trying to boot people back with the Lucio. Overtime would expire so fast, but now Jonak, he's got the whole hog, and they've nearly got the payload there. Here comes Fraggy over the top, but Philadelphia dropping so fast, and that's going to be it. We are going to game number 5.
What a wild end to the match, Noah. It looked like New York had it in the bag, but EQO nearly brings it back for Philly. But it's New York in the end, on the cusp of another reverse sweep of the Philadelphia Fusion, but there is still a chance for the Fusion to take that win.
Oh man, get your not like this gifts ready, guys, because this is gonna be tough to win that Oasis match. It all comes down to that. Stage 2 finals rematch going to game 5. Don't miss it. We'll be back in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Well, here we are yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Philadelphia Fusion versus New York Excelsior going to Game 5. We saw this before in the Stage 2 finals just a few weeks ago, and here we are yet again. And here we are in the same situation too, New York having a chance to get that reverse sweep for the win.
Yeah, changing out some players looks like it has done a lot of good for them so far, with Mono and Pine coming in, most particularly to deliver them a couple of wins. And man, that time bank on Junkertown was one of the most exciting I've seen in Overwatch League.
It really was. Like, I mean, I thought with what EQO was able to put together on the Junkrat, I thought for sure that Philadelphia was going to take it for a second. But New York, I mean, you get the 1 part spawn advantage and 2 parts it being just New York Excelsior, and I guess that means Game 5.
And this does mean, of course, that we are heading into Oasis. Now, New York is 6-2 overall in the Overwatch League on this map. They're 1-1 this stage, though, and they did lose to Boston already. Meanwhile, it's a 4-4, 50% for the Philadelphia Fusion.
Here we go. Sabielby back in for Libero as we look at our last map. Going in along with Pine on Oasis.
Yeah, Mr. Clutch himself. It is amazing in these do-or-die situations how well Sabielby can play. And having Pine in means that it's going to be time for a lot of McCree on Oasis, and certainly that'll be something that the Philadelphia Fusion are ready for. Interestingly, though, we will not see Snillo. Intimating that probably it will be Carpe playing the Tracer here. If we head to University, it could be the Junkrat from EQO. Also possibilities of dive compositions, the Tracer and the Genji.
I would not be surprised.
We are going to be on University, which is, of course, Fraggy's probably favorite map, the one that so oftentimes we see him, the rest of his team behind him, and healing him up with a Mercy or a Moira and allowing him just to open up space and left click away, swinging that hammer furiously.
I mean, if you're a Philadelphia fan, this is absolutely the point you want to see them start on Oasis. And probably if you're Philadelphia Fusion, this is probably the point you want to see yourself start on Oasis, as you can play that triple tank and you can put Fraggy on that Reinhardt, and he is pretty legendary on that hero.
And we'll be Carpe on the Junkrat now with EQO at the reins of the Roadhog. NYXL looking like Pine may be on the Genji.
Interesting. That's a bit unexpected.
He has played the Genji at times when necessary in Overwatch League, but it is more of a rarity. And there you go, back to the Junkrat, which he has played with a greater degree of frequency, and I think that is what you want. Carpe and EQO actually swapped heroes at the last second. So Junkrat for EQO, Carpe now over towards the Roadhog.
And here we go, Fraggy on the Reinhardt, on board with Mono right now on his Winston on the other side. Fraggy just walking forward. He's like, heal me, I'm just gonna hold down left click. So I do. A little bit of shield to start things off with, but Philadelphia Fusion does charge onto the point right away.
And it's going to be a dance here until the control point unlocks. The idea is they want to get as much charge onto the Riptire as possible for Pine. Sabielby on a long flank around the backside right now, trying to poke around the edges and see if he can find an opening.
New York pushing in, all the focus comes in on the Fraggy, trying to knock him down, but he's still up for the moment. Swinging in, throws out the Fire Strike, has to back away, but he's going to charge back. What? What? Welcome to Fraggy Town. Sabielby feels it, and Philadelphia Fusion gets the control point going first. Fraggy's like, yeah, man, I'll handle that trap. Don't worry about it.
No problems at all for Fraggy and the Fusion. They are still chasing as aggressive as we saw them earlier this season. They're walking all the way back to spawn. They have to be careful. There might be a Riptire coming out soon.
Yeah, that's I mean, when Fraggy plays Reinhardt, that's what you're going to see, you know?
So through all of that, 2 support ults for the Excelsior, nearly 2 support ults now for the Philadelphia Fusion. But Pine will be the first one up with the Riptire. EQO still not quite there, and Riptire's gonna come out.
Yeah, here comes, oh, and they're grouped up too. The Sound Mirror comes in, and Poco takes it out. Meanwhile, Poco, he's got his self-destruct ready. They've got Jonak to use his Transcendence as well. Now Boombox, use the Coalescence. Doesn't have that anymore. Meko a little bit on his own on the point. Gonna get focused down, gonna get D-Mech. EQO taken out by Pine though. Junkrat versus Junkrat. Jonak on his own versus Adiva. That's not where you want to be as the Zen. And Fraggy with another pin, charging in on Mono. Takes the moment to take out Meko.
And he just denied the primal rage straight up right there.
Totally.
So by getting the stun straight into the pin, there was no work that we could see Mono doing at all. So New York dumps the ultimates in. Arc dying first, a massive problem for them. Does save the Valkyrie, but at a steep price. 75% of the way now for the Philadelphia Fusion.
All right, I mean, New York has to win a fight right now. This is one they can't lose here.
Pine needs to get this Rip Tire. He has to get work done with it. EQO can match him on the other side. Not gonna pull out the tire yet. Coalescence comes out.
Oh boy, Boombox and Frankie down though. That's a big Rip Tire. Only Save will be taken out on the New York side. Poco's gonna go ahead and use that self-destruct. No kills out of that, and he can't get back in the mech because he's going back to spawn. And New York Excelsior will flip the point, and at 99% get some control percent of their own going.
Now, Philadelphia dumped a lot of ults into that. They're going to have Neptuno sound barrier up soon. But Jonak preserves the Transcendence throughout the chaos on the point, and now he is going to fall back. They don't want to compete with the tanks on the point. They want to flank instead.
Yep. Walking in, they've nearly got it flipped already. Save will be looking pretty threatening, but that pulse on it gets eaten. Poco turned around and shot the defensive matrix down from above to grab it. Pine taken out by EQO, another sound barrier from Neptuno. They're getting aggressive. Earthshatter knocks down Meko. He's gonna get charged as well. Gets demeched, Coalescence aimed his way via Boombox, and Fraggy down. The kill's still, though, in Philadelphia's favor for the moment, but they haven't flipped the point. New York still building control percent right now. Carpe turns and brings out the whole hog. Jonak pays the price, and they're gonna chase down the rest of New York Excelsior. Now Philadelphia tries to flip it back. Riptire doesn't do a lot. They've got it, overtime ticking away. New York into scramble mode here. They gotta make something happen.
Stall is going to be good from Philadelphia's side. They still have a self-destruct to use. Meko's going to take out EQ. Poco will get demeched and use the self-destruct instantly.
That's a great place to throw that self-destruct. Zones people out. Arc taken down. Can't get there as a Lucio. Mono trying to retreat. No help left. Meanwhile, Pine getting zoned out by Fraguse. Moved over to that Winston now. Great hook onto Pine from Carpe. And they've nearly got it locked up. Another Riptire coming in. And EQO looking for some victims, but he's not going to find any, but that's okay, because the reason is that Philadelphia took that round.
A bit messy at the end, all-out brawl on the point, but Philadelphia flip it halfway through and maintain that control until they can burn out the overtime. So now, match points for the Philadelphia Fusion. However, that was the point that they probably had the best chance on.
Absolutely.
The most Fusion favored point, because now we're going to go into Gardens, or City Center rather, and that is going to be a playground for McCree. Certainly Carpe has had his standout McCree moments as well.
He's up to the challenge, that's for sure. Here we go. Philadelphia Fusion 1 round away from doing what they couldn't do at the end of stage 2. Win over New York Excelsior.
New York scouting out on the high ground. Sabielby is going to head up on the Tracer and zip over, so they have several people on top of the dome at the center of the map.
Yep. That's the plan. Everyone being pretty cautious about their approach here. EQO, though, down. Somehow Pine manages to find him, and we've got ourselves a pause. What a time for a pause. Wow, okay. EQO down.
Yeah, he's down, and also Sabielby and Pine are right next to him, so it seems really unlikely that Neptuno is actually going to be able to zip over there and get a resurrect. Died poking his head around a corner. So that is going to open things up probably pretty significantly here for the NYXL. Arc was providing a bit of a damage boost onto Pine there in order to get that first pick.
Yep.
But wow, this is really coming down to the wire.
It's a tense moment. Like, this is the time we have
such a denouement, of course, with this pause right now, unfortunately. And
I definitely know what that means.
Your French skills are pretty strong, so.
I know. See.
Yeah, there you go. Nailed it, Noah. Nailed it.
Nailed it. That's right. Yep. Well, we're figuring out what's wrong right now, so hopefully it's not anything too time-consuming, because I want to get back to the action.
Yeah, it has been thrilling so far, and damn, that university point too, pretty
I love
dominant.
watching Philly on that one.
Yeah, pretty dominant by Philadelphia. Man. Poco really has that figured out too. The way that he was diving into the center multiple times, pick up the big health pack throughout that entire engagement, really did help him stay mech'd most of the time. And that in turn made a big difference in that multi-tank composition. New York also looking pretty uncomfortable.
I mean, if you play against Philadelphia on Oasis, though, like you kind of have to accept that if you go to the university, that's just going to be Philly's point. That's probably one of their best points on any map in Overwatch right now, because you get Fraggy on that Reinhardt, you get that insanity where he just wades forward. They're so good at keeping him alive too. And honestly, like, we talk about how crazy Fraggy is and aggressive he is, but honestly, he's very good about the engagements he takes on that Reinhardt. I mean, a lot of those charges, like, a lot of that isn't luck. Maybe the one on Sabioli was a tiny bit luck, but a lot of it is just really good planning and good support from the team.
Indeed, and we're going to take a look at some of the final blows for 10 minutes right now, because we actually have a lot of players from this match. In Pine actually on top right now, of course with more limited play time, and Snello, who was only seen once today, is currently sitting at number 2. Carpe, many of the usual suspects that you would consider top players, DPS players in this league, rounding out this list. Wakid, I think a little bit of a surprise, but again, with limited playtime. Same thing with Shadowburn, who has had less and less playtime as EQO has become the more normal starter, except in certain situations where Philadelphia wants to have a Pharah player, which has included on Oasis at times in tiebreaker moments.
True. Our receiving word apparently was Jonak that asked for the pause, so needed a second to get something worked out with that computer. Or himself.
Well, I'm just glad
Probably the computer.
I'm just glad it wasn't something that happened with EQO, who was the one who had died first in this fight.
That
you
is
don't want
true,
to hear it be a mistake that caused that circumstance to occur.
Yep, that's right. You don't hit. I hit the Windows key again. Oh man, that almost never happens again. Although, you know, on all my keyboards, I just like pop the Windows key out right away.
Usually on most gaming keyboards these days, there's just a switch that can disable it from gaming to regular mode. Which
I'm old school.
The old school players
pop it right out,
take it off completely.
I actually like on a lot of mine, I pop the caps lock off too.
Oh really?
Because I don't need it.
You don't need it?
I don't rage on in my typing, at least.
No, he rages in voice comms instead.
That's not true. That's not true. If you ever meet me in a game of Overwatch, I will be very
He'll rage
genteel
at you at voice comms.
and I will
but no
not.
caps lock, don't worry.
That's right.
He doesn't leave evidence.
You'll hear the caps lock in my voice. I'm too smart for that. Here we go. We're back into action again. EQO res, but it does cost Neptuno his life. You were right when we mentioned it earlier, Monty. That was too dangerous for Neptuno to res. Philadelphia Fusion, people dropping like flies here, and it looks like New York has a prime position to get the control percent going first. They will.
They absolutely will. So, 3% already for the NYXL. Carpe already with a Deadeye, so dealing a huge amount of damage, but no actual kills yet. And interesting, EQO, Widowmaker. I think this is a really bold plan for the Philadelphia Fusion. They are going to struggle against Sabiolby. Sabiolby is lurking right now. He's going to be looking for this Widow, and this could be disaster for EQO.
Oh, dodges. It's like, nope. Nope's right out of there. Meanwhile, Philadelphia Fusion getting aggressive. But they lose Neptuno again. Mono down, EQO down via Pine, and yeah, I don't know about this Widow, man. I mean, Carpe is going to be, or rather, the McCree's going to be close enough every time.
But that was such a great call from the New York Excelsior. So they see the Widowmaker, and you immediately see Sabiolby wiggling so that he can't get a headshot. And instead of going for the Widow, he just dives with the rest of his team, saying, this Widow is no threat right now. Instant decision. And they go onto the front line and continue to keep control of this point.
Again, Sabiolby just catches a glimpse of Carpe, goes back to his team again. That's why you want this guy on your side, man, because he's not going to take a lot of those crazy chances. Winston versus Winston. Sabiolby wants a piece of that.
He comes all the way across, so double flash just to continue to harass Fraggy, but he is on his own at the center of the map.
Yep, that's right. Mano jumps in, Sabiolby is going to go with him. They're going to chase down Neptuno. Meanwhile, oh, there's the stick. They were waiting for Poco to come in. Fraggy pops that Primal Rage, and he does get the kill onto Arc. So Philadelphia trying to do what they can, but they lose Carpe again. Mano, Primal Rage ending, trying to get back to his team, but getting chased down. Meanwhile, the good news is that New York is getting the kills on the other side, and they're going to keep holding 90% already. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Pine flashbanged Primal Fraggy right as he came out of Primal Rage, and Vanda hammered him. So right as the ultimate was ending, that's when Pine struck, and then he was free to walk forward onto the rest of the members of the Fusion.
New York so far making this particular round look easy, and it looks like it's not going to get any tougher for him. They've already eliminated both tanks. There goes Carpe. And Philadelphia Fusion, I think they may need to go to round 3 here if they're going to want to try to win this one. Yeah, this one was all New York. It's going to be 100-0. And as good as Philadelphia looked on University, New York crushes it just as hard on City Center.
We've had a very back and forth series, except for Junkertown. All of these maps have looked somewhat one-sided.
Here's Jonak being Jonak. To that 3K. It's one.
Kind of boops some people into the cars and turns around a corner to get his second and will not be able to get a third one.
Know, I feel like he gets a slightly larger pair of glasses each match. And they're slowly getting bigger over the course of the season, I'm pretty sure.
Soon they're going to be this entire size of his face.
I'm pretty sure. Just have to sit back farther from the computer then. Here we go. The final round. New York Excelsior versus Philadelphia Fusion. The winner of this one takes the match. Philadelphia Fusion needs that revenge for the Stage 1 finals. They've got Carpe on the Soldier 76 this time. Oh, but they lose Boombox right off the bat. Big Boss Pine still lurking about, finding the kills. Fraggy on the Reinhardt, but he's on his own. Goodbye.
Oh, that was so close. Mono had a sliver of HP left, so they tried to punish by just coming in with triple tank. You never expect that, and then attempting to kill Mono as he was in front of his team. They ran in after him using the speed boost, but they couldn't quite kill him, and Pine gets the headshot onto the Moira in return.
And there's
Had they killed Mono, I think that could have been a much more even fight. And maybe gone the way of the Fusion, but Mono, he's just slippery and gets away.
Philadelphia Fusion making some big changes. Fraggy, EQ, and Carpe all swapping it up, going for a bit more dive now. Classic dive coming in from Philly. Uh-oh, that got reflected.
Reflected,
oh, he gets the kill anyway!
Kill onto Carpe.
The defensive matrix from Meko protected him, and he got the kill. Wow. New York Excelsior firing on all cylinders here.
That was...
Again? He's gonna do it again? He did it again. A little help from Mono, but wow.
That was all Meko there as Pine stunned himself, but still, as the flick right as he comes out of that too to take out Carpe, insane.
New York Excelsior, 50%. Now already here on Gardens, Philadelphia Fusion needs to dig deep if they want to have any chance of taking this and winning this series.
5 ults on the way for New York too. As a result of all those compositional changes, Philadelphia Fusion is a little bit behind in the ult economy.
Sure enough, Dragon Blade can turn that all around. Oh no, the stun comes in. He's still alive, but no kills out of that one. The teams trade 1-1. Now Boombox falls though. And Philadelphia in a little bit of trouble. If he can get Jonak, that would be huge. But the heals come in from Arc. Arc always there to get Jonak's back. And Mono comes and says, hey man, you messing with my supports?
He was messing with the supports. And no one gets away with that usually when you face off against New York. Fraggy's still alive here on the flank, and he is going to stay that way as Mono has to dodge out with the resurrections coming from Philadelphia. Trance now back up for Jonak.
Yep.
Same for Boombox.
98, 99, overtime already. New York has controlled it from second one. Pine with the Deadeye, no kills out of that one. Philadelphia Fusion in a fight they must win to stay alive in this series. The chance of revenge for the Stage 2 finals slipping away here. New York way ahead. Ults are used. Fraggy jumping out. He's got no health. Pine right there with the kill. Goodbye, OT. Carpe tries to keep it alive with a kill onto Mono, but that's going to be nearly it. Philadelphia back on there. Neptuno. Pine cleaning it up. 3 kills at the end to give New York Excelsior their second reverse sweep against Philly.
How clutch is that? Double reverse sweep sign in the audience. The prophecy comes true, and it slips out of Philly's hands just past their fingertips one more time.
It really is insane. And Philadelphia Fusion, obviously a great team, but New York, in the end, like, nobody is as clutch as these guys.
It is impressive that they have the fortitude to come back, switching up their lineup. And this time, it's the Big Boss Pine and Mono who deliver them the victory.
Yeah, I mean, Pine, you know, he took a little break for a little while. We didn't see him for a few weeks, but since he's come back, he has been back on top of his game, and more so even. I love it.
It's hard to argue with those results, though. 22 elims, 17 final blows only 4 deaths on Oasis.
What can you say? It's clutch. There's a reason why New York Excelsior is the best team in this league, and they show it to us again here tonight with a clutch win over Philadelphia Fusion. And Fusion still a team I think we can be very excited about moving forward in the playoffs here. A lot to look forward to them, but tonight it's all New York. Let's send it down to Zoe, who's got an interview ready for us down on the floor.
Thank you so much, Monty and Doa. I have Ark from NYXL with me down here on the floor. Please give it up for him and his team. You did it again. Another reverse sweep against the Philadelphia Fusion. But of course, the big question is, how did you get it done this time around? What did you guys discuss in the dugout after you were 0-2 down at halftime?
First of all, we are like trying many styles right now, and we try to like try the new stuff to them, and it didn't work well. So we just like try to like bait them a lot, and I think it worked better.
All right, bait works. You know, why not? Now, the desk has been discussing a certain point prior to this match starting, saying that NYXL doesn't look quite as dominant anymore as they did at the beginning. Do you feel that way also? Do you feel like you could be playing on a higher level still?
I think like we and London are both like in the high level still, but like other teams really like improved their a lot. So I think that's the problem. That's the reason that many people feels in that way. Like we're not dominant anymore. But I think it's like the leagues become more fun because of it. So I think it's good. Yeah.
I think everyone in here agrees, right? We want to see those close matches. We want to see those clutch matches we just had on stage. Ark, thank you so much for joining me down here. And once again, one last time, let's head over to the desk to talk about what we just witnessed on this stage.
Oh, my goodness. What a game that was. That game slipped away from Philly's hands like a greasy cheesesteak slips away from mine. Okay, that's how that felt. Wow.
One word. Oof.
Oof. Oof.
That was again.
That was an oof.
Again, man.
Yeah.
What do you say about that?
Back-to-back reverse sweep.
Oh.
And what can you say? Apart from I called them both. So there you go.
Where's that amazing sign? That sign. Bring that sign over here real fast, because
that double reverse sweep.
This sign deserves. This is just like a savage to the umpteenth degree. Here you go, right here. This is the sign right here, double reverse sweep.
There's no question mark anymore.
Yeah, with a crossed out question mark on it as well. Insane play from NYXL and a great adaptation. I think the fact that in the second half they sub in Mano instead of Janus, that's a huge difference in their play style. Like Ark was saying, they try out something different at the beginning, Janus a bit more flanky, and then when they're playing with Mano, everything starts going right.
Yeah, we hit on this at the desk at halftime as well, because I said like, okay, they figured out Janus, it's time to see sub in Mano, and maybe see a different change of pace. So going into Ilios, of course, we saw Pine subbed in, and that was a huge difference in and of itself. But really, it was all of New York really starting to pop off. It was Mono, Sabiobi, Jonak, Pine. Just everything went New York's way. And you have to wonder, Philadelphia, did they put this on themselves?
Oh,
did they start thinking about their...
So I'm going to talk about this here because there was a little conversational point going into map 3 where Poco apparently... So here's the deal. We had some sounds from the game, and Poco was going to... He tried to rally the troops, but he kind of did it the wrong way.
The wrong way.
He said, don't get reverse swept. And there was, we were going to play it, but there's a lot of language not to sound for television.
Because they're so passionate.
So passionate.
Yeah,
so
and
passionate.
I think they honestly did get in their heads a little bit. When you look at Ilios, which was the beginning of the reverse sweep, Sabiobi went 9 for 1 when he played Tracer. Snillo 0 for 5.
They didn't die once on the first round of Ilios.
And normally Snillo is so clutch. They sub him in and he's so consistent. He's played incredibly well over the course of all of the matches they've subbed him in for. And this time, I think EQO had some choking moments slightly later on Oasis as well. And overall, this game just slowly slipped away from Philadelphia.
And Junkertown was it was back and forth all
the hold
time.
To deny the resurrect as well.
Yeah, that was sick. And then EQO just dropping in on the Bastion. What a sick, brave play coming out from EQO. And I think that this style of Junkertown is sort of played into Philadelphia, but not with the Orisa, because that is what New York has done so many times. They like to play with the Orisa and the Roadhog and play slow, that is what they do. So neither of these maps really played into Philadelphia's favor, I would say, and then when you're on Oasis, you're on the verge of getting reverse swept once again. I mean, it's just mind games from that point.
And a couple of little stats about Tiebreaker and Oasis here. So when you look at the Oasis records of both of these teams, Philadelphia were 4-4, so 50%. NYXL 6-2. That's so juicy. So NYXL in general, the better Oasis team. But when it comes to tiebreaker matches, Philadelphia Fusion have won 80% of their tiebreaker games. They're normally great in these 5-game series, but this time, and against NYXL in general, they don't seem to be able to pull it out when it matters.
And then they started with a round-up, right? They played University with the tanks, and they're up 1-0, and then they have to play the dive versus New York Excelsior.
They dismantled them on you.
Yeah, exactly. And Philadelphia, they kept swapping heroes. We saw EQO on the Tracer in spawn. He didn't go out with it, but they were swapping back and forth. We saw Carpi on the McCree. We saw EQ on the Junkrat.
A lot of indecisiveness.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's when you get into your head. We saw them roll out with triple tank. And I can respect that because they probably played triple tank in practice. Probably something that works for the first fight, of course. But then you get into your head, okay, now we have to start fresh. We swap out all our heroes, swap out the triple tank, onto dive, and you're fighting from a disadvantage. And at that point, it's such an uphill battle.
That was just tough. That was a tough game.
It was tough.
And this goes back to what Ark was saying when he said that they swapped their style to be more baity in the second half. NYXL love it when teams dive into them, when they play aggressive into them. But for the first half, that's not what happened. They were forcing NYXL to make the first move, and it was working beautifully for Philadelphia Fusion. They were shutting down Janus when they were trying to go for flanks. It was all working well. So NYXL, mid-game adaptations, preparation, coaching, again, coming out stellar for them.
Well, let's shift focus, though, to our player of the match, sponsored by Omen, by HP, and it is the guy who really changed the tone of the game. It is Mono, and for due reason. I mean, this guy comes in, and then the impact is immediately felt for him.
Absolutely. Philadelphia were up 2-0, and you start to sub in Mono instead of Janus, and you changed up the main tank lineup. An entirely different sort of play style, and Mono just goes in there with a new attitude, and he rallies the troops to actually get back into this series. So a huge performance by Mono, and I think he was a key difference maker, together with Pine, of course, because he played all of those 3 maps as well. But Mono, he was the front line for the New York Excelsior, and a big change why they won this series.
Huge performance from Mono. That is why he is your player of the match, sponsored by Omen, by HP. Congratulations to him. Once again, congratulations really to all of the NYXL. I mean, what a matchup that was.
What a day.
I know, what a day. What a day.
2 reverse sweeps in a row?
This is just, I mean, this is like the best that you could possibly ask for.
Right? It really is.
Yeah. You know, it's so good. So, well, let's go into the stage standings here and see where we are, because right now, Philadelphia falls out of the top 4. They're tied with Seoul. But if you are a Fusion fan, I don't think you need to be worried too much. This team continues to perform at the highest level. And also another reminder for the Fusion fans, you were going up against the #1 team in the league currently as we take a look at the overall standings. If you're an NYXL fan, though, I mean, you're very happy. Your team continues to dominate, slap everyone around like
they're
some
so
new
far
spam.
ahead.
It's just here.
Did I ruin your joke?
No. I made a joke about spam. 2018.
We don't have spam in Sweden, so I
we don't have spam in Sweden, so that does make a lot of sense.
Maybe we have copy pasta, but we don't have spam.
There you go. So, tomorrow we have some great matches. Philadelphia Fusion versus the San Francisco Shock at 4 p.m. Then we will have the Florida Mayhem versus the Shanghai Dragons. And then finally, the Boston Uprising against Seoul Dynasty. Pumped for that last matchup without a doubt. That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be fantastic.
Picante? You said picante?
And today we were treated to such a delicious meal of Overwatch, I felt. Like the starter was really nice, just a little amuse-bouche as Houston took on Florida. And then we had the entree. It was delicious, a lovely mix of flavors as it went to that reverse sweep. And then that, so it was a little bit of a spicy dessert. There was some chili in that chocolate as we went through there. It was absolutely a lovely, delicious day.
You're clearly getting fed by Chef Heidi of the Fusion Chef.
What can I say? What can I say? Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
All right, well, Reinforce has to collect himself. Because a lot of shenanigans happened here on the desk today. But gentlemen, thank you so much for your insight throughout the day. It was awesome. But make sure you stick around if you're an all-access pass holder, because there's going to be an AMA with the big boss, Pine, the one and only from NYXL. Thank you so much, though, for everyone for tuning in. What a day. What an excellent day of Overwatch. And we have so much more to come. We'll catch you tomorrow for some more amazing Overwatch.
If you're in the Los Angeles area, come experience Overwatch League live at Blizzard Arena. For tickets, check out access.com.
Alrighty, what's up everybody? AMA interview again. My name is Danny Lim. I am your host / translator. And as you guys all know, today we have our beautiful, amazing NYXL's one and only Pine, everybody. Woo! Virtual applause. Alright, Pine. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you say hello to your fans? 자, 지금까지 여기까지 오셔서 너무나도 영광이고요. 팬분들한테 지금 파인님을 보시기 위해 많은 시청자 여러분들이 계십니다. 시청자 여러분들에게 인사 한 말씀 그리고 자기소개 부탁드릴게요.
안녕하세요. 저는 NIXL의 DPS를 맡고 있는 파인 김도현 선수입니다. 반갑습니다.
Hi, my name is Kim Do-yeon, also go by the name Pine. Nice to meet you all. I'm from NYXL. Alrighty, so with that being said, before we get started, I'm sure Pine knows, but I'm going to be asking you pre-selected 20 questions in order. You answer, and then I translate. 자, 20가지 질문을 이제 하나씩 답을 해주시면 되고요. 답을 할 때 제가 답이 끝나시면은 네, 제가 번역을 하도록 하겠습니다. Pine, are you ready?
Yeah.
Danny, are you ready? Yes. Alrighty. With that said, let's get into the question. First question is from Mr. Maquette. What's your go-to tank and support? 자, 미스터 마케트님께서 질문을 보내주셨네요. 탱커나 서포트로 자주 애용하는 영웅은?
제냐타죠.
젠야타. My go-to support is 젠야타. And any reasons? 뭐 이유 특정한 이유라도 있나요?
쪼낙을 빙의할 수 있기 때문에.
My reason for choosing Zenyatta is I could be in the mentality of Jonak, and I could be really good Zenyatta user. Thank you so much, Pine, and thank you, Mr. Maquette. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to our second question from Hassan Katara. Sorry if I butchered your name, but okay. Hassan Katara said, "What kind of practice did you do to get your aim to be at a level that it is now?" 자, 파이님 같은 에임을 가지려면 어떤 연습을 해야 하나요? 라고 여쭤주셨어요.
일단 첫 번째로 마우스 감도를 찾고 두 번째로 마우스 감도를 찾은 뒤 자기 근육을 그 마우스 감도에 맞춰주면서 연습을 지속적으로 해야 됩니다.
Alrighty. So first and foremost, yes, you have to put in a lot of practice, but you have to also put into the factor of the mouse sensitivity. Once you set your mouse sensitivity, work your muscles, work your hand muscles, and just practice, practice, practice. Alrighty, that was from Hassan Katara. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next question. This is from JJ Dorito. What's your next hair color? 자, JJ 도리토님께서 다음 머리 색깔은 뭐로 하실 건가요?
아직 결정한 건 없는데 파란색 예정 중입니다.
Alright, so I actually haven't decided yet, but I think I'm gonna go with a blue hair color. Is there a reason why you're choosing blue? 왜 파란색을 하는 이유가 있나요?
NIX야.
Moving on to the next question. This one is from GratTZ Catzy. GratTZ Catzy. Alrighty. Why did you choose 21 as your player number? 자, 21번이라는 플레이어 넘버로 선택한 이유가 있나요?
거기에 많은 역사가 있죠.
There's definitely a lot of history behind that number. Reason being.
그 21번이란 게 그 한국에서 뭐 편의점 같은 데 가서 음료수를 하나 먹고 싶은데 뭔가 또 하나 더 먹고 싶다.
Okay.
근데 1+1은 좀 부족하다. 2+1을 고집했습니다. 저는 항상. 그래서 21번을 좋아합니다.
Let me take a second. Okay, so the reason why I chose number 21 is because in Korea, if you go to like convenience stores to buy food or beverages, there's a thing called 1+1. So you buy one, you get one free. But if that's not enough, there's also a thing called 2+1, where you can buy two things and get another one for free. So for those of you who want a lot more than two things, go with 2 plus 1, and I guess that's why Pine chose 21 as your number. 그게 이유 맞나요?
그렇죠.
알겠습니다. Thank you so much. This one was from Gratis Cats. Gratis Cats, thank you. Moving on to our next question. This one is from Jackman1000. How was your experience in New York? 얼마 전에 뉴욕에 갔다 오셨다고 들었는데 솔직히 말해서 어떠셨나요?
뉴욕 빅 애플이라고 하죠.
Big Apple. Good job.
정말 날씨가 더러웠지만 저는 정말 그 날씨를 좋아하고요.
Okay.
다른 사람한테는 나쁘다고 생각할 수 있겠지만.
So, to be really honest, the weather wasn't really that nice compared to LA, but I really do love that weather. The reason why you love that weather is it because it's pretty similar to Korea? 그 날씨를 좋아하는 이유가 어떻게 보면 뉴욕이 좀 한국이랑 날씨가 비슷해서 그런 걸 좀 더 좋아하시는 건가요?
겨울에 껴입을 수 있잖아요. 몸을 감출 수 있기 때문에 저는 여름을 싫어해요. 왜냐하면은 노출해야 되기 때문에.
Good call. So, Pine is saying that I really don't like summer or hot weathers because I have to take off clothes and I don't feel comfortable. If it's colder weather, you could just put on more jackets or more clothes and you'll be warm and you'll be good. Alrighty, thank you so much. That one was from Jackman1000. Jackman1000, thank you. Moving on to our next question. This one is from Dan Shadowstorm. Dan Shadowstorm on Twitch said, "How did you choose your player name?" Dan Shadowstorm 님께서 파인이란 이름은 어떻게 지으시게 되셨나요? 라고 여쭤보셨네요.
간단합니다.
Is it I'm fine? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
간단합니다. 네, 뭐라 했었어?
No, I was saying I'm fine, like fine.
No.
Sorry, guys. All right.
그냥 지인분이 파이니 님 쓰는 게 어떠냐? 네 치킨 님 너무 이상하다. 파이니 님 써보는 게 어떠냐라고 추천했어요.
누가 추천해 줬다고요? 다시 한번.
제 지인.
Alrighty. So, before choosing the name, a lot of my friends, I was asking suggestions, and a couple of my friends said, "Why don't you just go with Pine? It sounds pretty cool." So that's why I went with Pine. Simple enough. Thank you. That was from Dan Shadowstorm. Dan Shadowstorm, thank you. Moving on to our next question. This one was from Latula Pyro 1. If you could go on vacation to any place, all expenses paid, where would you go? 이번 질문 굉장히 재밌네요. 라툴라 파이로프 1 님께서 세계 어디로든 여행을 갈 수 있다면 어디로 가고 싶으세요? 경비 전액 지원이 가능합니다.
한국.
Korea. Reason I'm guessing because it's your home and you miss home. 좀 이유가 집을 가고 싶어서 향수병 때문에 그런 건가요?
한국에서 아직 안 가본 곳이 너무 많아요.
There's places. I am from Korea, but there are certain places that I really want to visit and I haven't gotten the chance to visit. So that is why my answer is Korea. So Latula Pyro 1, thank you. Moving on to the next question. This one is from Doomfist Main 55. How would you best describe your style and why is it effective? 파인 선수의 플레이 스타일은 어떻게 되시나요? 그리고 그 스타일이 효과적인 이유는?
저는 모르겠는데 다른 선수들이 저한테 한 소리가 좀 많이 공격적이라고 합니다. 하지만 이 공격적을 이용해서 상대편한테 허점을 놓을 수 있는 그런 장점이 있었어요.
Right. So I really didn't think about this, but a lot of my teammates told me that one of my fortes or one of my play style is pretty aggressive. I go in and play aggressively in game, and from that I could find weaknesses against my opponents. Alrighty, thank you. This one was from Doomfist Main 55. Doomfist Main 55. Thank you. Next question, Holly W. OW. I'm sorry about that. Holly OW. What is your favorite American food? 제일 좋아하는 미국 음식은?
Nacho.
Nacho. Nacho and cheese?
Yeah.
Jalapeno?
No.
No jalapeno?
Yeah.
Just nacho and cheese?
Yeah, only cheese.
Only cheese and nacho.
Nacho, yeah.
Simple and clean. Awesome. That was from Holly OW. Thank you, Holly OW. Thank you. Moving on to our next question. This one is from Loud Benny 01. How many hours do you practice a day? 자, Loud Benny 01 님께서 하루에 몇 시간 정도 연습을 하시나요?
날마다 다른데요.
It really depends. 네, 하세요.
먼저.
It really depends on day to day, but
날마다 다른데 어떤 날은 뭐 6시간 이상 연습하고 어떤 날은 뭐 8시간 이상. 하지만 게임을 많이 한다고 중요하지 않다고 생각하기에 조금 휴식 시간도 많이 가지면서 길게는 안 해요.
Right. So On average, I play about 6 to 8 hours of practice, but I honestly feel like it doesn't matter how much hours you play. You just have to play effectively. So long hours does not mean good practice. You have to put in rest in between, get yourself ready for the game, and prepare, and so on and so forth. Alrighty, good answer. Thank you. Thank you, Pine. And this one was from Loud Benny01. Thank you. Next question. This one is from Heejin, I believe. Which hero do you think is your best and which is your worst? 제일 잘하는 영웅과 제일 못하는 영웅은?
제일 잘하는 영웅은 누구나 알듯이 미도우 메이커죠. 제일 못하는 영웅은
없어요? None? You're good at everything.
생각 좀 해봐야 될 것 같아요.
You're Pine. Okay, you need some. Okay, I'll give you like two. Mercy. All right. So a hero that I'm really good at is self-explanatory. I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching this knows it's Widowmaker. A hero that I am not good at is Mercy. Alrighty, this one was from Heexjin. Thank you. Moving on to our next question. This one is from Sephiron _ asks, what was your favorite place to see in New York? 뉴욕에서 제일 좋았던 곳은?
모두 다 좋았어요. 뭔가 하나 찝기에는 좀 아까운 곳이고 모든 게 좋았습니다.
I really can't pinpoint a certain place that I really liked because overall my experience in New York was amazing. Every place that I went to was beautiful and amazing. 그럼 뉴욕에서 여기서 잠깐만 하나만 더 질문하자면, is there any favorite food that you had in New York? 뉴욕에서 먹었던 것 중에 제일 기억에 남는 것?
피자.
Pizza. New York equals pizza. Alrighty, thank you. This one was from Sephiron _ Thank you. Next question. This one is from Pappy Polly. Pappy Polly asks, what is your favorite food? Okay, this one kind of goes well along with the one that I just asked. Pappy Polly님이 제일 좋아하는 음식은? Well, in general, this does not have to be just in New York, but just overall general, your favorite food. 제일 좋아하는 음식.
다. Everything.
Everything. Every single food on this planet. 전 세계에 있는 모든 음식을.
머쉬룸 빼고.
Okay, except mushroom. Anything that has mushroom I don't like. Everything else I like. All right, cool. Pappy Polly, thank you. Next question is from Basel Opay, Basel0PE. What do you recommend doing to help improve your accuracy as McCree? 맥크리 에임을 향상시키기 위한 팁 한 가지만 부탁드립니다, 파이님.
오래 쏘세요.
Shoot as long as you can. Anything else? 뭐 더 애드하고 싶은 건 없으신가요? 없으면 넘어가고요.
한 가지 있자면은 저는 굉장히 많이 맥크리해서 에임이 좋아진 사람입니다.
If I could add another point, I became really good at using McCree because I put in a lot of practice. So for those of you who are, who want to be a McCree user, put in a lot of practice. Practice makes perfect. Alrighty, this one was from Basil Opay. Thank you. Moving on to our next question. Manny Money is asking, if being a pro gamer did not work out for you, what would your backup plan be? 만약에 파인님께서 프로 게이머가 아니었으면 파인 선수는 도대체 뭘 하셨을 것 같으세요?
셰프.
Chef. Do you like cooking? 뭐 요리 좀 잘하시나요?
대학교를 호텔 조리학과 나와서.
Okay, I actually went to school and majored in hotel management, which kind of goes along with cooking. So, okay, awesome. That one was from Manny Money. Manny Money, thank you. Next question is from Hopped. What is your greatest weakness as a player and how do you try to overcome it? 자, 파인 선수의 약점과 그 약점을 극복하기 위한 방법이 따로 있으신가요?
제가 약점이 있나요?
Do I honestly have a weakness? I don't know. You tell us. Do you have a weakness? 어떻게 약점이 없으신가요? All right, Pine does not have any weakness. Alrighty, so this one was from Hopped. Thank you. Moving on to our next question. This one is from Crystal Wisp. What is your favorite animal? 자, 크리스탈 위습 님께서 제일 좋아하는 동물은 무슨 동물인가요? Dog. Any specific dog? 뭐 dog 중에도 뭐 there's golden retrievers. I personally have 2 schnauzers. 진돗개.
전 다 좋은 것 같아요.
Alright, I am a dog lover. I love any types of dogs, and if they just listen to me well, then that dog I love. Alrighty, cool. This one was from Crystal Wisp. Crystal Wisp, thank you.
you.
Moving on to the next question. This one is from Jin Ramona. Jin Ramona asks, what was your favorite clutch moment you've seen while participating in the Overwatch League? 진 레모나님께서 리그에서 활동하시면서 제일 기억에 남는 순간은?
전 아직도 그 기억을 못 잊겠어요. 스테이지 1 파이널 때 4킬 한 그 순간이 정말 짜릿했습니다.
Alright, so I still can't forget about that moment. Stage 1, when I got 4 kill strikes. What map was it?
파이널 맵 정크타운.
Final map?
vs 런던.
Okay, final map Junktown versus London, and he still cannot forget about that moment. That moment was a clutch moment for Pine. All right, Pine, thank you. That one was from Jin Ramona. Jin Ramona,
thank you.
Moving on to the next question. This one is from Warrior. Do you prefer being called Pine or Big Boss? 자, 워리어님께서 파인 아니면 빅보스 둘 중에 어떻게 불리는 것이 더 좋으신가요?
Big Boss Pine.
Alright, so I actually want to be called Big Boss Pine. So put Pine and Big Boss together. Everyone start calling him Big Boss Pine. Alrighty, this one was from Warrior. Warrior,
thank you.
And last but not least, our final question of the day is from Harper. Pine, how do you increase your tracking? 자, 파인님, 어떻게 하면 트래킹 에임 실력이 늘 수 있을까요?
똑같죠. 오래 연습하시면 될 것 같아요.
I've given some tips throughout the whole interview, but it's always the same. If you want to increase your tracking aim, whatever it is, if you just want to be good in this game, you have to put in the practice. Grind. Practice makes perfect. Alrighty.
하나 더 얘기할 수 있을까요?
Yeah. He's gonna add one.
좀 성의 없이 얘기하는 것 같아서 한 번 더 붙여보자면은 저희 모든 프로게이머들은 이 오버워치란 게임에 목숨을 걸고 연습을 진짜 오래 하면서 여기까지 끌어올린 거라 저도 그렇고 그렇게 얘기할 수밖에 없어요.
Alrighty. I'm adding on to this because I don't want to come off as cocky or just just boasting, but this is the hard fact. All the pro gamers in this world, we put our lives into this. We invest our lives and everything into this game. So we really either it's make it or break it for us. So that's how much energy and how much focus we put into this practice and for Overwatch. Alrighty. Thank you, Pine. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is it for today. Thank you so much. Everyone who sent out all the questions, thank you. Pine, before we go, any last words? 자, 마지막으로 가시기 전에 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
지금까지 이렇게 AMM에서 저한테 관심을 주시고 모든 팬분들이 저한테 관심도 주시고 정말 엄청나고요. 이보다 더 한 말이 있나 싶기도 하고 정말 감사했습니다.
I'm truly grateful and honored that everyone from AMA and all my fans are giving me support and just showering me with love. So thank you guys so much. And 그다음에 뭐 끝에 더 끝났나요?
Thank you for the fan.
Thank you for the fan. Alrighty, that is it for today. My name was Danny Lim, and this was
Hi.
We'll see you guys all later. Peace.
Bye bye.